You're listening to Knives and Monroe versus the podcast, and we're here to be thinking about guns and stuff.
Got this like radio show because he worked at a radio show right out of high school,
like terrestrial
in the desert. It was on MySpace. And so what we would do is, and like when he came back into the band or came back hanging out with us or whatever, he was like, hey man, I need people that can like help me do this, because I have a couple guys that help me, but they're into it because they can get into shows. Like, I need people that will help me and actually like make things happen. So I was like, dude, let me tag along to like an event and like let me see what I can do. So I go out there and I help him with a bunch of stuff. He's like, dude, you're on. So we would go and we would interview bands. He would record it on his recorder and then he'd pop it up on MySpace. So his 5 songs on his MySpace would be interviews we would do. And then as like MySpace progressed, you were able to have like a feed of just music that would go from like like if you just had 100 songs, you could shuffle all the songs through. And we were reaching out to labels, we were reaching out to, and then we were getting demos, we were getting leaked stuff, we were getting CDs, we were getting a bunch of stuff.
Oh, you guys were hot then.
Oh, dude, he blew up. And so I say he blew up because, again, he got fucking weird, and he left out of the desert where we're from and kept doing it through like other cities or whatever, and like all himself though. Never had any real help outside of like when me and my other friends were doing it with him. And then he came out here and continued to do it, but then picked up tour driving. So that kind of took over because now he's getting paid to go on tour and interview people and talk to people, right?
That's the dream.
But you think, right? And
I would think.
And so when I initially came back out here and like hooked up with him, I was like, you know, hey man, let's do that. And he's like, yeah, dude, I'm definitely. And then we did it for like a year, and he stopped. He's like, no, I don't want to do it anymore. He's like, it had gotten, you know, the podcasting world and all that had gotten so much ahead of him. He was like, man, I don't want to have to catch back up. And like, you know, the cloud of MySpace wasn't around anymore. He has a YouTube channel, but you know, it's comparative now. It's shitty quality. Like, it's not good quality stuff. You know, it's shitty camera work, and it was cool in 2010.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, but he still has a shit ton of connections, man. And a lot of the stuff my band did, a lot of the stuff being able to network and being able to get out was because of the connections we made through doing this. And like, you know, we know a good amount of artists and a good amount. He knows a shit ton of more people than I do, but I even feel like I know a good amount of people just through doing that. And it's always been something I'm interested in because it's music, movies. It was always music first, but he was like, "Hey, if we do bring it back, I think it has to be like a pop culture. Like it has. Do you ever listen to Dan Le Batard?
No.
Or like Deuces and Marrow, the Bodega Boys?
No.
So like,
there's a whole West Coast thing.
Well, Bodega Boys are from New York. They're the dudes that are on Vice. They Deuces and Marrow on Vice. You never watched that show at night? The two black
probably
dudes?
can recognize them.
Yeah, you probably would. And then Dan Le Batard is like a sports guy, but he has a podcast he's had for like 5 years, and they'll cover sports topics, but then they talk about just like anything pop culture that's relevant, and they joke about it. Very cool podcast. And I get a lot of my sports info and a lot of my media info from that.
But yeah, you guys see yourself doing like a Schultz Charlemagne thing?
I don't know about a Charlemagne thing, but he's coming to. So I haven't recorded since I got my wisdom teeth out.
How you doing, by the way, with that?
Today's the first day I feel like normal.
Thank God.
Yeah, and like can actually like chew. I was eating
all
stuff
of them
today.
All 4? All 4. It's fucking horrible.
I didn't go to sleep.
That's horrible.
The only one that came out okay was this one. They all fucked up.
Fucking horrible.
It was rough, dude. But so I'm from having no interviews tomorrow to having 2. So he's actually coming down and I'm interviewing him. And then he's coming down again and we're going to like prep. I already have like stuff written down and like an idea of kind of where I think it should go, you know, but we're going to sit down. Hey, what do we want
for Common Chaos?
No. For I Hate the Scene, for bringing it back. Like, I'm pretty sure we're doing it. We're it's just, so for him, he's on like, God, there's so much. Are we starting? I don't want to fucking cut us off.
You know what? Let's just get right into it. Yeah. So let me do my little spiel, and then we'll get weird.
I'll crack this in.
Welcome to another episode of Knives Monroe versus the podcast. I'm your host. I'm with Bryan Kern.
What's up, everybody?
We've been wanting to make this happen for a long time, and you're old school, and I really appreciate that. You wanted to do it face to face. I mean, I've talked to people from Prague, you know, like I've talked to people from different countries, and obviously you have no choice but to do it that way. But I just want to get it. I'm not too precious about it, but anytime I have an opportunity for someone to come to the crib to do it, I want to do it. So we scheduled this out, I mean, back in 2019. And so we've met in 2018, and so here we are, 2020. We're getting it in. And
by the way, you're my staple year-end guest, by the way.
Well, thank you.
You've been my year-end guest 2018 and 2019. So I think you're just going to be my staple from...
Let's do it going into 2021. I can't even think that far.
Oh, dude, it's so crazy.
It sounds alien to me to say 2021. But, so yeah, go back to what you were talking about. Bringing the scene back, Muscle White.
It's so...
I hate the scene.
Yeah, so I Hate the Scene is a show we used to do together, and he wants to bring it back, and it's about, you know, aligning, right? And I think he's in a position where he's still trying to figure out himself and what he really wants to do. And what I was going to mention is I think that, you know, we all hit that eventually, right? We all get on that path where we're like finding ourselves, and I feel like it's probably a little bit more current in like my life and maybe your life, I think, because at least from what I can see, my perspective, I see you killing it. And like, when I say killing it, I mean, you're doing your work, you're hitting your podcast every day, you're like doing it, right?
Yeah.
And to me, that's a part of the struggle of like finding yourself. Like that's a part of you answering whatever calling you're trying to answer or following your dream, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And when you don't do anything or when you're stagnant,
it's
because I don't know if you know what you want to do, right? And I think that's where he's at right now. But he's getting like, he just got back from a tour last night. So he's touring, he's doing that. And I think that's getting him realizing the opportunities that are going to come along with it. And then so it's just a matter of us putting out a game plan and executing on it. But
I feel like you're the strategist when it comes to that, when it comes to getting things done and making some moves.
I'm big on strategy. I don't know if I'm the guy, but I'm big on like having a plan. Like, because I fucked up by not having plans in the past for sure.
So I want to talk about your past because I don't know much about you.
Go.
I've had the privilege. Let me turn off my phone. I've had the privilege of being on your show, the Common Chaos podcast, but I've never asked you how you created the show and why when you created the show. I've never asked you. I know kind of nebulously where you're from. I never really asked you about how you grew up, what you were into. And spoiler alert to my audience, I mean, you're doing jiu-jitsu. You've fucked with music. You fucked with stand-up comedy. It's like, what? Like, I don't want to say interviewing, but I keep coming in contact with people that are so diverse. And it gets me jealous in a way, but it's also fascinating because I'm like, how do people do this? Like, I really don't know. I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse, but filmmaking was my thing, and I put all my chips in on that. Mm-hmm. When people say all in, like, I totally mean all the chips. My debts, everything, like, went into filmmaking, and it's paid off in a way because, you know, it's video, it's audio, it's all these different things. But for people that can, I don't want to say dabble, but try everything, like, it's just like, I'm too scared to do that. So I'm curious. I'd never really go back, like, and talk to guests this way. I do kind of feel like this is an interview, but I am just curious because I don't know, you know, where are you from? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Palm Springs, California. I was born in like Orange County, which is also in Southern California, but was only there for a short time. And I lived in Palm Springs from the time of like 7 to when I moved out here when I was 28. So I was in Palm Springs, which is Southern California, for about 21 years. And is that sum it up for you? Or?
So I mean, what was your high school life like? What was the culture like in California? Like, is it diverse? I have no idea.
Yeah, Southern California. I mean, at least we're like 3 hours away from Los Angeles. We're 3 hours east of Los Angeles and 2 hours north of San Diego. So we have this nice little like triangle that we're in. It's a tourist town. It's where Coachella's at. So if you're a Coachella fan, or Stagecoach is a huge country music festival. If you're into Coachella or Stagecoach, that's where they're held. They're held in Indio, California, which neighbors La Quinta, which is where I grew up, which neighbors Palm Desert, Palm Springs. It's all called the Coachella Valley. And so...
What did your parents do?
My dad was a janitor, and he had a lot of jobs. He was a janitor, I guess, like, for the majority of the time that he was a janitor. He was only there for like 20 years, but growing up, he was a janitor. He was a manager of a like valet company, And so I grew up like working with him. My first time working was jobs with him. He did gardening in the summer. My dad definitely did a lot, and definitely taught me like a work ethic. But I don't know if it was, huh?
Is he still with us?
Yeah. He did. I don't have like the best relationship with him, but I've like so it's actually Kobe, his death. I messaged him and I haven't talked to him probably like a year. We say happy birthday and stuff because his birthday's the day after mine. So it's a very
Do you have any siblings?
I do have a little sister.
How old is she?
25.
Same parents?
Yep.
That's a fair question.
And I have a half sister from him.
From your father?
Yeah.
So did he remarry or something?
No, she's 25 as well. And
This is kind of like a surprise.
yeah.
Very
and my
interesting.
sister and Sam. Shout out to Sam.
Okay, cool. So did your parents still together? Did
No,
split?
they divorced. They divorced when I was like 14. And that's just fucking weird childhood parents, whatever.
This is going to be a very weird question, and it's going to sound like a troll, and it's not. Very curious about this. Like, what's it like growing up with a dad?
So, okay, I'll kind of give you that little background. I didn't live with my dad till I moved out to Palm Springs when I was 7. And I knew my dad. I came out and visited him. But him and my mom were just kind of butting heads and didn't get along. A lot of, I don't want to say abuse. I don't want to make it sound like I came from like an abusive childhood, but my dad was a dick, didn't always take the best actions. It's not like I was at home getting beat constantly, but there were spats of violence from time to time. There was a lot of arguing. Like,
did he have a temper?
No. He's got a weird past. Like, his dad killed himself when he was young and they didn't tell him. Yeah. And so there's a lot of loose ends I'm sure my dad can probably tighten up. And that just, rolled over into how he raised his kids and how his relationships with us.
When you learned that?
He told me I was like maybe 12, 13. I mean, older, but he sat me down and was like, because I knew that my grandpa wasn't like my grandpa. I knew that he was like a married-in grandpa, and I just never got the story. One day I asked, and he was like, hey, that's what happened, and kind of broke that down to me, and I was like, okay, cool.
Are you the oldest of your siblings?
Yeah, it's just me and my little sister.
And what's that like?
It was definitely like a dad role, once he was out of the picture, because once they got divorced, he bounced. He didn't really give a fuck. And so that was weird.
I know your sister.
Yeah.
Of course. I'm thinking about little Bryan, and I can't picture, your little sister.
Yeah.
But you guys are tight.
Yeah. She does like
does
a lot
all
of
your
our artwork.
artwork.
Yeah.
And she's
All
so
our logos and
talented.
stuff.
I fucking hate her.
She came out and visited in like June or July last year. She came out and hung out.
Wow. So where's she at?
She's now she's in like Riverside, which is like an hour from Palm Springs, but she's still in that area.
Damn, there's a Riverside here in Austin.
Yeah.
So
there's also Beaumont and something else, and that's literally.
Ain't that trippy?
Yeah.
Wow. So growing up, did you get to watch Jonah Hill's mid-90s?
I did not know. I've heard about it. But.
Okay. I don't know. It'd probably be condescending to you, but it was like my window into the 90s experience growing up in California. Like the skateboarding scene was alive and well. Like what was happening over there when you were growing up?
So, I mean, of course, skateboarding. I skateboarded, I rollerbladed, I fucking BMX. BMX was my big one. I really liked BMX. Did that from like 6, 7 to from when I came out to the desert, because there wasn't really much to do in the desert, till middle school. Got into music in like middle school and high school, and wrestling, dude. And so I'm gonna nerd out a little bit about your little video you sent me, but your backyard.
Have you seen that before?
From when you sent it to me.
Never seen it.
No.
Wow.
And dude, so by all you fucking, I'm giving you an I'm not worthy, because we would do little matches like that, and I bled one time, and that's because.
Did you gig? Or was it
no? So
hard way?
We were at we were in like a little. So we would do the matches in my buddy's house, my buddy Bubba's house, and we had like some tires and a mattress that we would put up, and we just like suplex each other. I mean, we'd get a table every now and then. We'd fuck it up, right? He had an abandoned house next door to him, and they were remodeling his fence. So we would go in and out from time to time. Like, we were hanging out in his backyard, like 13, middle school. And there was a window that hadn't been set into the thing yet, and I was like, you're gonna break that over my head.
Oh no, no, sir, no.
I didn't. So I figured it would just break and it would be cool, right? And I was wearing a hat. And I was like, it'll be fine. What happened is it cut the back of my neck.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, dude. And I bled pretty bad. My mom was like so pissed.
Cactus Jack himself would not
But
allow
it wasn't
this.
cool, dude. It wasn't like
No,
your cool blood.
it's
that you
not
had,
cool.
Man. No, it was great.
Did you have like flappage? Did you need
No.
stitches?
It like grazed. It like did a couple.
Oh,
of nice
that could have
little
gone
nicks.
very, very
It
bad.
could have. But I mean, I was like, I was 13, bro.
You know what's interesting? Like at that age, what year were you born?
87.
Okay, so you graduated 2005.
Correct.
Okay, I graduated 06. But by and large, you know, I would call us the same generation. And
Well, yeah,
not
absolutely.
only did we grow up in the apex of wrestling, and before people are like, they're talking about wrestling, I'm out of here. Before they do that, here's the thing. Like, it was not only was wrestling white hot at the time, but like hardcore wrestling was like sexy.
ECW?
For kids. Like,
Oh.
I don't know what. Here's the thing. So my son's 14, very impressionable age. And like, I see the group that he hangs out with. Like, no one listens to metal. No one's got like an edge to them. Nobody like has that. For some reason, I'm going all over the place, but I'll bring it back to this. Like, I don't know why I was in the mood to listen to Linkin Park this week. I don't know why. And I put on a track. It was some live from Texas
I saw your Instagram
concert.
feed.
And
I went to that tour.
No fucking way. It was Dallas.
Summer Sanitarium. Well, I didn't go to the Dallas one, but it was the Summer
Oh.
Sanitarium tour with Metallica, Limp
Yes.
Bizkit, Mudvayne, and Deftones. And I went
Ooh,
to the one
minus
in,
Limp Bizkit. That is sick.
shut your mouth.
Oh, we'll get into it. But somebody, never mind. That's for another time. But I was listening to this and I was like, dude, fuck yeah, this. I like almost forgot, not really, but I almost forgot that like I'm a metal guy. I'm a fucking metal guy. Like, I just wanted. I felt like I was hugging like my 13-year-old self of like, Knives. This is who you are. Don't forget who you are. You know. But I don't see these kids. These kids got nothing. Like, they have no edge to them, in my opinion. I know I'm very old man right now, but like Cactus Jack and, you know, like just the iconography of Stone Cold Steve Austin bleeding. Just that iconography, or like growing up with Jackass and shit. So I know you can talk about that. Like, why do you think, was it just the culture at that time, or like how did it affect you? It doesn't affect everybody. Not everybody's into that.
So for me, I was always a wrestling fan. I used to watch.
Who got you in?
I would watch when I lived in. So I lived in like San Diego County for a while before I moved to the desert, and we had lived with my uncle for a little bit, and his routine was like, yo, whenever wrestling's on, we're gonna get up, we're gonna eat cereal, and we're gonna fucking watch some wrestling. And so I grew up watching like Hogan, Undertaker, Bret Hart, Marty Jannetty, like the old school guys, right? But I was like young. I was like 4 or 5. I didn't really, understand it. My first wrestling event was at the like San Diego Sports Arena, and the Undertaker fucked Hogan up, and I cried. I cried because of like how terrifying it was.
Yes.
And then,
And also, did Taker beat Hogan?
oh yeah.
That's
it
why
was
you
like right
fucking
after.
cried.
So I also remember distinctively crying when he put him in the coffin. He put him in the coffin like a long time ago, and I remember bawling.
I know
Probably
exactly
it was
what
like
you're
a
talking
Survivor
about.
Series or some shit.
Oh yeah.
And so, and then so like moving, got into Power Rangers. Like wrestling was always there, but like I never gravitated towards it. And then when I got into middle school, my friends in that like, and through that time were like huge wrestling heads. And I remember one day going to, I think it was Bubba's house actually, and he had all his wrestling action figures out. And I was like, oh, we're going to fucking play some wrestling action figures. Dope. And I was asking him like, oh, who's this guy? Like I didn't recognize a lot of them. And then sure enough, he's got like every pay-per-view recorded. His family's way deep on it.
Yep.
And it hooked me back in. So like at 11 or 12 years old and getting hooked back into wrestling.
Yeah.
And I remember being very into it because it was almost like it was like an ongoing movie almost. Like every Monday I was fucking in front of my TV, whether it be WCW or WWF. I was just like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do every Monday. There was a point in time I remember I was watching wrestling every single day. There was Monday Night Raw and Nitro. Tuesday had Lucha Libre on like Telemundo, so I would watch that. Wednesday was like fucking Thunder or whatever
Thunder or
WCW
some
had.
shit,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then Thursday was eventually SmackDown.
Yeah.
Friday was ECW and it was on TNT. And then Saturday was like Superstars and whatever other bullshit, maybe an off day. And then Sundays were generally like pay-per-view and Heat.
Yeah.
And so I was just engulfed in it, man. And I was, all my friends were into it, so I was into it. It might have like had something to do with the music as well. Cause I mean, deep down, I'm a rock metal guy. That's what I love. And that's what I'll probably say is like my diehard genre is the heavier stuff, you know. And I don't know, man. It's something that was captivating about it. Obviously, I did a report my freshman or like sophomore year of high school. It was a persuasive essay, and it was on how wrestling isn't fake.
Tell me about that.
I used the Mankind going off the cell clip
How can you not?
from King of the Ring 98.
How can you not?
And my point was, hey, wrestling's predetermined, whatever, but it's not fake. These guys are athletes. They put their bodies on the line on A. Like, I went in because I was so, this is what I'm going to talk about. I was so about wrestling just constantly.
Yeah.
Like, I was a loser probably because I was into wrestling. Like, I had friends and shit, but I was never like a fucking popular kid or a jock or anything. Like, and I kept to myself because it was just fucking, I don't know, my escape, I guess. I don't know. What did you gravitate it towards you? Like, what? It was, and a lot of it was like almost risque because my mom, of course, saw like some matches where there were blood. There was fucking slutty chicks in it all the time. Like, I'm sure there were times where she's like, "You can't watch this," and I was like, "What the fuck? What do you mean I can't watch it? It's wrestling. What's wrong with wrestling?" Like,
yeah, and it was provocative at the time. Like, it was literally rated TV like 14.
Oh, they showed boobs. Yeah, what's her face?
I don't know.
Jacqueline. No, Jacqueline had her top ripped off on like a pay-per-view.
Right. Yeah,
I remember
heard about it. Never saw it.
Sable had the handprints.
Yes.
And then Playboy. They had several Playboy.
I mean, Shawn Michaels Playgirl. Like, there is something inherently sexual about professional wrestling, or at least there was, especially when we were growing up. But I mean, here's like, I got inoculated at a young age. What very little I remember about my dad, he would show me wrestling, and so same thing with you, like Ultimate Warrior, all that shit. Like, I was into it. Macho Man.
It is make believe. There's
superhero.
There's a fantasy there, and like that's probably why dads, uncles. That's probably why the older generation can show it to the young kids and get them into it because it's like, oh, he's cool. He's a bad guy, good guy, bad guy. You have your dynamics.
Yeah, and also like it transcends language. Like, you can watch wrestling from different parts of the country, and it's the same. Whether if it's Japanese wrestling, like you said, lucha libre, it doesn't really matter.
Muscle White, also a huge wrestling fan.
We
actually bonded over wrestling.
He's still a wrestling fan. Yeah. Like, I haven't seen the product in a while. I'm like an AEW guy. As a matter of fact, they're coming on Wednesday, so I got to buy tickets for that. But I stopped during the Attitude Era. Like, it was like the Hogan NWO stuff. I was such a mark. I was like, I don't like that. Like, I was like, how dare, like, no, not my Hogan. I was like, fuck this, I'm out. Like, I was out. I did not. So I missed like really the golden age
WCW
stuff. Yeah, but it was Brett and Austin when that happened. I got the tape and I took it to my class. I was like in 5th grade.
The I Quit match?
Yes, and I was like, we need to watch this, and my teacher let us watch it. It was just so rogue at the time, and I just like inoculated my entire classroom to watch this I Quit match, and I was just like, isn't this fucking crazy? I was like, what is even that, right? And so I got back in, and by then, like, Mankind was a presence, and whatever that was going on, like in 98, 99, and so then I got back into it and was into it forever after that. CM Punk was my guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I saw him in Ring of Honor in 2005, and I was like, this is the guy. I don't know what it was about him. He was just like so unconventional, so not a Macho Man Randy Savage, like big beefcake looking guy. Like, I was like, this guy looks like I could be a wrestler, But the Backyard Wrestling video that I sent you, the story behind that is my friend. We were into it. As a kid, we would fuck each other up.
Very
and
real bumps too, by the way.
Real bumps. I mean, that's the thing. Like, maybe some pulled punches here and there, but we're not trying to kill each other. But that guy that I wrestled, his name's Juno, and I love this guy. He's one of the best friends I've ever had, and get a little emotional about this, but we wrestled. We had a title. We all pitched in for it. It's whatever. It was like $300 on eBay. That was a lot of dough, in 2006. And so when high school ended, we were like, we're done. Because we would do it every Friday from like freshman year to senior year. We would have school matches where we'd jump off the library and, all this crazy shit. And our little fed was called WAF, Wrestling Ain't Fake. And
Preach.
And so after a while, we were like, let's just end this. We had a 6-man Iron Man, and we just ended it. And it was cool. But every now and then, like, somebody would get the itch to do it. And it was like, but not everybody was in. And so long story short, in 2013, when that was my last match, my friend had did some time in jail. I won't say for what. And he did his time, and but he was champion. And so he's like, I have this 3-year reign, but I've never, like, he's like, I feel like that doesn't count, and he's like, so I need to defend it. Who wants to wrestle? And everybody was like, I'm not fucking doing that. And so I felt like, how can I not? My friend's back. I'm going to do it. And so we composed that story together, and I'm like, dude, that's like the best way to go out. Like, there was color, there was oohs and ahs, you know, like he jumped off a ladder. I'm like, cool. I was very happy for him. Put him over, and then he felt like a real champion, you know. So there's something kind of like, I love you, bro, like about that, you know. And you can even hear it when he pins me 1, 2, 3. I told him, you know, that was awesome. Like you could hear it, you know, me say it. But so yeah, wrestling is very shared between the both of us. There's something kind of it's like especially during that time, it was directed to kids, like boys especially, like impressionable youth. Around that time, like what was I'm interested, like who were your music guys? Like what was like what was the gateway drug of music for you growing up?
So my dad was obviously into like everything, country, fucking metal. He obviously showed me like Metallica. That was probably my go-to. So my all-time favorite band of all time is Thrice. And before that,
why? I've heard like a few Thrice songs. What's the emotional reason behind that? It's got to be personal.
Fucking powerful. I mean, I was probably like, their first album came out in 2001, so I was like 11. 12, no, I was 13.
You were there for that.
I heard them on like a compilation album, and it was just beautiful guitar, beautiful screaming, like singing. It was like a very punkish vibe. Now they're a little bit more, and that's another reason why I like them. They've never stick to one style. Every album has a different sound, a different structure to it. They're creative in the way that they present their albums. They had one album that was 24 songs, 4 different 6-song albums, and they were all off like the elements, so water, fire, earth, and air.
Oh shit.
So like the fire album was super heavy in metal. The water album was like electronic. The earth album's basically all acoustic.
I didn't know they did that.
Yeah. And then so they just, they're from Orange County. They toured Southern California all the time. I've seen them over a dozen times. Like they're my band. They're my go-to. Before them it was Metallica, but Metallica's takes time off, and it was hard to kind of be a real Metallica fan when I didn't grow up with Metallica. Right. I got Metallica. I get shit all the time because I say Saint Anger is a fucking great album, because it is.
See, this is where I feel like we're kindred spirits. I love Saint Anger.
It's such a good album, and I get it. It's not Metallica, or it's the snare, or whatever complaints you want to make about it. But to not have a fucking album, and then in 2003 come back and say, hey, not only are we gonna make a fucking album, but we're also gonna just be a full-time band again and crush it. And then you do the Summer Sanitarium tour, you pick up Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park, all these bands that are killing it. I mean, for me, that was like, okay, dope. This is a good album. Like, I was hyped for the album, and yeah, it was different and weird and like groovy, but I think it fit.
What's your favorite track off of Saint Anger?
I like, obviously, Saint Anger. Shoot Me Again's great. My World is also great.
I have this playlist on Spotify called Goro.
Yeah.
And it's like based off of the Mortal Kombat character, and it's just supposed to fucking slap, right? And I ignored it because I've just been listening to all kinds of other weird shit, like lo-fi, fucking what happened to dubstep. That's neither here nor there, but like just weird shit. I just like went off into the deep end, and then I was like, oh, let me go back to my Goro playlist, and it's kind of dated because I haven't updated it in years. And then The Unnamed Feeling came on, and I was like, this fucking song. I don't care. Like, you're not a Metallica fan if you don't like Saint Anger.
Yeah.
I will say that. Mean, especially, the subject matter, it's so therapeutic. There's something kind of like, in a way,
Sweet Amber is like about being an alcoholic, like
frantic, like 100%. And it's like there's a toxic masculinity-ness to it, but it's shedding its skin and being vulnerable. Like, that's powerful. I understand, like, hardcore metal fans are like, it's fucking gay, bro. Like, Sure, I get that. But as a kid, I was just like, fuck yeah. Like, it did something to me. I don't know. And I think they recruited a whole new crop of, like, freshman class fans.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
That was a good time.
I think it was, man. And, like, I didn't grow up in 80s Metallica, so I have no claim to being like, oh, it's not like their old shit. Like, metal for me was always, you had, like, your Anthrax, you had your really aggressive metal, which was like Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, Slayer. Like, you want to go all those routes.
Did you ever fuck with Pantera?
Yeah, they were a little too. I mean, yeah, I fucked with them, but they weren't like one of my favorites.
I think it's kind of like, it might be that's like my Dallas Cowboys. where as far as Texas go, even though I know Phil's from like New Orleans or something, but there's something kind of like if you're a Texas guy, you have to be a Pantera guy. Like, I don't know why. Like I grew up with that, and so
I was shook when Dimebag died. I was
same.
Yeah.
My first concert I ever went to was Marilyn Manson in 2004. I remember I told my mom, I was like, hey, Marilyn Manson was my guy. And it's why I changed my name to that. Knives Monroe wouldn't exist if there was no Marilyn Manson. It's kind of a copy of that. And I asked my mom, I was like, Mom, it's $35. Marilyn Manson, I have to go. She's like, Marilyn Manson. She's like, isn't that the guy that removed his rib to suck his own dick? And I was like, you know about that? Holy shit. But I remember he cut the show off early because of Dimebag. And like he was devastated by that news or whatever. And I was just like, fuck. And so that was a tough time. Like, if I go back to my hometown and I hang out with the homies and people start drinking, it's just a matter of time where people are like, this one's for Dimebag, even though it was almost 20 years ago. But I grew up in that very hardcore, like, you know, grassroots sort of like, this one's for Dimebag, man, or this one's for... Didn't Vinnie Paul die or no? The drummer?
He recently, yeah. Like
I think he did.
recently.
So that's fucked. And so people are like, this is for them. Pantera will come on, but oh my gosh. But yeah, I mean, so metal first, right?
Yeah, and then so I got a guitar because my friend's dad played guitar, and he was always constantly playing guitar like at the house, and he'd let us kind of like play around on it even though we weren't good. And so his stepson, my buddy, got a bass. So I was like, fuck it, I'll get a guitar. And we just like we learned Eye of the Tiger with Matt.
Did
like,
you guys
his bedroom.
form a band?
No, not like an official band.
You
We
didn't have a
learned, like,
name?
a couple songs together. No. No, I've only done one band, like full on, hey, this is a band, played shows.
What was the name of that band?
The Chainsaw Experiment.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it was a misheard lyric, actually, so
What do
fuck
you
up
mean?
on my part.
Oh, no.
Finch there's a song from Finch, and the lyric is Caged Rats Experiment, and I thought it said Chainsaw Experiment, so I was
Isn't
like,
that
that sounds
funny?
brutal.
Isn't that funny?
So-
That's happened to me. This is why I don't look up lyrics.
Oh, I have to now, because I feel like after that, I'm just like, I gotta read.
I like my meaning. I don't want to demystify it. I never started looking up lyrics until Kendrick Lamar. And that's when I was like, I need to know what this fucking guy is saying.
Or when
because
you're
this is
singing the
Moby Dick
song
here.
at the same time with someone else, and they say the right lyrics, and you say the wrong lyrics, and you just kind of look at each other.
That still happens to me.
Oh, me too. All
That
the
still
time.
happens to me.
All the time.
That's crazy, man.
Shit.
So that's a guy. I had a friend who was in a, I don't know what you'd call it, like a grindcore band called Fucked with the Chainsaw.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So I kind of thought about that when you mentioned it.
Yeah, there was this band we used to play with a lot called Hacksaw Circumcision.
That's good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Some of these stick.
Definitely. And so that's another thing that actually really drew me to music too, is because like you did have like your Metallicas and your big like stardom bands, right? They were on MTV or whatever you watched and were super famous and popular. But once I started seeing like my friends in bands, and then like Thrice, like for the most part, they've always been like an independent, not an independent band, but they're like a scene band. Like they're not selling out stadiums by themselves, right? Like they're a pretty decent support. They've got a good following.
I call them indie darlings.
Yeah, they've had a major signing, but at the same time, like now they're on Vagrant Records, and like Vagrant for the most part's pretty.
They probably had a few videos on MTV2 or something.
Yeah. Not a lot though. Not every album has a video that's getting played, you know.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, something about being younger. Like you like that niche, you know. Hey, this is my back pocket band. This is the band that I can stick in my pocket. Nobody knows about, and then once they hear them, they're gonna love them too. And like, so that kind of music really gravitated me towards wanting to play music, wanting to hear all the bands that I could fucking consume. Like at any given point, I was like, hey, who you listen to? Just trying to, you know, expand, I guess, my CD case. I don't know what it was. But
We were the last millennial. They call us millennials, but we were the last generation that went to school pre-iPhone and or smartphone, should I say, and pre-hardcore social media.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted to go on MySpace, you had to log into a computer.
I created my MySpace like after I graduated high school, like a month after. So and it was new.
So you didn't have it.
It was
growing up.
and it was like pretty new at that time.
Yeah.
You know, 2003.
There was LiveJournal. Shit like that. AIM.
Yes. Yeah.
WinApp.
Yeah.
I can go on and on.
And so, having like that weird Yeah, you had to work for it almost. Like I had
Yeah.
when I downloaded fucking LimeWire. Oh, I got gypped, dude. I got that cool track that featured everybody and their mom, and it was not a fucking cool track. It
That's
was
a bummer.
Yeah, like, but
I will say,
Hours
I've
and
gotten away
hours.
scot-free with everything.
hours and hours just downloading. How dare you? Just downloading new music or clicking a track and then hitting all of them and like making sure I'm downloading the whole album. I was even more anal where I would go in, make sure the albums are in the right orders.
Yep.
Everything was spelled properly. The track list was correct. And like music for me at that point was like the new wrestling. It was definitely something that just consumed me. I always say if I go blind or deaf, I'd rather probably go blind because as long as I can have my music.
I think that's a fucking hard one.
Yeah, dude.
But I think I agree. I think I agree with that. I like how you said music was like your new wrestling, like your new obsession, right?
Yeah.
So what was like your high school experience like? I'm curious if you want to talk about it, like girl wise, since these kids nowadays, like Snapchat me, like everybody's in a constant, ongoing conversation, But back in our day, like if you had to have the guts you would go to the dances. And it was like the guys here, the girls there, awkward as fuck. And then you had Knives Monroe that would be like, play chop suey. And then you'd start fucking being a little turd.
Yep.
That was me. I was that guy. But what do kids do nowadays? I can't imagine. I don't think they have that. Like, do they even listen to a whole song play out? Like, I don't think they do. It's got to be 15 seconds of something new every time. So what was that experience like for you?
It's like my social experience.
Yeah. What's supposed to be like
So I got
the
my
fun times?
I got my first cell phone when I was 17 years old.
Did you buy it yourself?
No, my mom bought it for me, but I had a job, so I helped her with like the bill. And
Were you all about that T9 life?
I had a it was like an old Verizon flipped up phone, had a little camera on it. Was definitely not taking dick pics on it just because it wasn't even a concept.
Of course, it was
Take
not
a picture of my dick and send it.
No, hell
no. So that, I mean, it was a lot of like, so I talk about like my like friends group or my friends in high school. I'm outgoing and I probably have like some weird I need attention thing. But it comes from like having to make friends. I realized that making friends comes from like either making somebody laugh or connecting with someone. And through me, it just happened to be like through laughter because I can make people laugh. But it was, you were definitely like, although I don't even know if it's as bad as it is now because like cyberbullying, I never experienced that. I don't know what cyberbullying is. I've never experienced going to school and having like kids look at me because of some shit that was said online. Like if some kids were laughing at me or making fun of me, it was because of some shit that I did and probably like deserved to get laughed at for, right? Like, or whatever. And I was never again, I had like my close group of friends, but I was always like kind of striving to like expand that network or have more friends or like just be involved, be like accepted, I guess, or maybe think that I'm a part of this cool thing. And that's why I went to a lot of like house shows and a lot of little, just weird like events. Girls didn't have my first girlfriend until my senior year in high school. So 17 as well. Like I was pretty just nerdy and not, but at the same time, like I definitely didn't care. Like I definitely didn't give a fuck about girls until I was like a sophomore. And then was like, oh, high school, it's, oh, okay. Like I get it, started flirting, I guess. Like I was also awkward and weird and like didn't have any skill whatsoever.
Yeah. That's interesting because for me, like this isn't a machismo thing. This is like for the parents out there, like check your kids because like I remember like being 5 years old and wanting to have sex. Like I remember being 8 and like I want to marry that girl. Like I never didn't want to fuck every girl or like have a girlfriend or like I just ever since I was a kid, like aggressively like knew it.
When did you start jerking it?
Oh, so young, like 10.
Yeah, see, I didn't really start until I was like 13, I think. And then
that was the thing, and
that's probably when I was like, okay, cool.
I'm glad you asked that. Like we talked about fat being on your show. It's so weird, but I'm glad you asked that because it's not something I'd bring up. But like at 10 years old, and I discovered it. It wasn't like I saw porn and I was like, I'm gonna try that. Like kids nowadays, that's the scariest thing of all. Is the fact that they're walking around with free porn in their pockets. Like, dude, like honestly, that's the most fucked up thing. If I was the president of the United States, this would be like one of the things I'd be talking about. Because honestly, this whole new crop of men, basically men who are growing up on these tube sites, Oh my God. Like I remember, here's a funny story. When I got a girlfriend and she was like so ahead of her, not ahead of her time, but like she was the one that pushed everything.
Mature for her age.
Well, that's the thing. She was a year younger than me. So when I was
So mature for her.
when I was 17, she was 16, and yeah, mature for her age, I guess. But she was very like, you know, like I want to suck your dick, and I'm just like, you what? Like you would actually put your mouth on that? Like I didn't know about porn really, you know. So like the most scandalous things I ever saw was like professional wrestling, like Lita or something with a thong or whatever, right? That's all I knew.
Ooh.
That even that, well, I would just be like, so like this is too gnarly for me, right? But I remember her telling me it was the first time we ever did doggy style. It was like the third time I had sex, and then she had told me, and this is not funny, like this is not like so, this is a PSA for parents out there.
Listen up.
And she had told me, she was like, you put it in my ass, and I was just like, no, I didn't. She's like, yeah, that's what that position is, and I was just like. And I was like,
only?
I felt like I was grossed out by that, and I was just like, what? And she was like, I'm just fucking with you. And I was like, because I didn't know how that worked. But 12-year-olds, 10-year-olds, like know how this shit worked today. And I don't know the damage that's going to cause them, but so yeah, the jerking off thing, like I discovered it, and I would talk to God like, dude, like I was so guilty, and I'd be like, please, like let this be the last time I ever do this. I don't want to do this ever again. I remember the first time, like I would jerk off, but I remember the first time I came, where cum came out of my dick.
Yes.
And I remember just being like, I'm a man?
Oh, okay.
But like no one explained to me this is how this shit worked.
Me either. Okay, so first of all, that's so crazy that you bring up the concept of discovering jerking off because, yeah, you could watch, I know your kids are out there, but you can watch anything right now and figure out how to jerk off and how to do all that as an 11-year-old, 10-year-old kid, 100%. Discovering jacking off is a very real thing that is probably not going to happen ever again. But yes, as I was younger, we didn't have porn. We had like the Spice Channel, and I would occasionally graze the Spice Channel and see if I could see a tit clearly or a fucking pussy or whatever it was. But you were legitimately going off of just feelings you had in your body, right? And yeah, you fucking think you're playing with your dick for like a year, and then you realize that, oh no, there's a whole nother level to playing with your dick because you can come or orgasm or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And when that happens, it's like this existential, like, what is life? Like,
yeah.
So the first time I did it was the night before Easter.
It's a real life hack. Life hack.
Yes, exactly. And it was the night before Easter.
Okay.
And then I asked my dad what jacking off was Easter Sunday.
But you had done it
the night before.
See,
but I didn't say any. I of course didn't like out myself.
Yeah.
But I was just like, hey, I was like reading something and like, what is that? And
Yeah.
then he was just like, well, we'll talk about it. Like it's Easter. We need to bring this up right now. And I was like, okay. And then it just was like in my head, I was like, am I gonna go to hell? God, I'm sorry. I don't want to do this again.
Right,
Like it's this weird. Did I just do something wrong? Was that supposed to happen?
Because it's a secret.
Am I breaking a law or a rule or this
Right.
weird sin? Like I don't.
Isn't that interesting?
And I wasn't even religious, but of course,
Yeah.
God, good, bad, all that shit's kind of hung over you as a child, and you're most definitely not doing something that. I mean, granted, it's not bad. Everybody should learn about it, but
But you're not going to save the world with it either.
Yeah, and at like 13, doing it by yourself, not knowing what you're doing, not knowing what the fuck you're feeling or why you're feeling it or what the fuck comes next, literally. It's just a mess, dude. And that's crazy. I never thought about that. Nobody's going to discover jerking off.
They're not going to do it. And
Whoa.
like, I don't want to like,
Oh,
dude,
man.
kids are so fucked. And it's funny because like, you know, I feel very bad for them. Like I really do. And most importantly, like, and I have a boy and a girl, but I feel terrible for the girls that are growing up and the guys that either aren't going to want to fuck them or the guys that are going to be like, so we're going to do reverse cowgirl like the first time, right? Like, you don't know what the fuck, like there's no evolution, like graduation, like, you know, like relationship prospect to any of this. Instead, it's just like all optics. Like, and here's the thing, like kids like talking memes, right? Mm-hmm. Memes as we know it. So there's Riley Reid memes out there and Mia Khalifa memes out there. And like, it's just part of the culture and the conversation. Like, dude, they are so fucked and desensitized to the max. And I feel like we came from a generation that was like, we were glued to television, right? Or music, right? And so we were like wired in. We were distracting ourselves, or we were plugged in. And then the internet kind of happened at scale in a way where we, how old were you when you had high speed internet?
Oh shit, high speed internet?
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I put together my first computer. I had summer school between freshman and sophomore year, and my mom said, "Hey, we're gonna get you a computer."
But you remember dial up?
Yeah, it was dial up. I remember having to get off a phone. I remember having to fucking do all that bullshit.
Same.
Like DSL, I think is what it was first, instead of it being like broadband. I remember like the first generation of high speed internet was like DSL. And you could be on the phone and fucking have internet at the same time. It was mind blowing.
You can download a song, like in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Instead of hours, leaving it on.
Torrents became
all
a thing because then you could do full files instead of a song at a time.
Videos.
Yep.
WMVs.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. And now
do you remember Rotten.com, by the way?
Oh, Rotten. Yeah. I remember Faces of Death as well. But Rotten was like too gnarly for me.
Because it was just anything.
It was too gnarly for me, man.
Yeah,
like
Tub Girl was weird. There's a bunch of weird ones.
I can recall renting Faces of Death, and everybody has seen. And like honestly, like I'll tell you, I'll get there. But everybody's seen where the guy like is at a press conference, shoots his head off, right? And like a fountain, like blood's just gushing out of his head. And like I'm like 12 years old watching this, right? And being like, that's pretty gnarly. And then going on Rotten, and then just seeing like this guy was ran over by a train. And it's like the photos of it, and I was just like, not cool. I'm pretty sensitive to that kind of stuff. The last time I ever saw, like a beheading style thing was ISIS. They this was like 2012 or something. They lit somebody on fire in a cage, and seeing that person suffer and die, I was like. I was like, I was so alarmed. I was like, not only is this fucked up, but I don't want this to be okay. Like, I don't want to normalize that. Like, I mourned that human. Yeah. And I don't want to just be like, that's just another thing that happens. Yeah. Like, I was very afraid of that, and I could sense that, like, that could easily be, But, yes, Rotten was fucking gnarly, man, and that was new at the time, and now that shit's, like, everywhere. Like now on Facebook you'll see like, oh, uncover this thing if you want to see the graphic thing. I block people. I don't care who you are, family. If you post like anything with children or anything with animals or like even just grown ass men like getting murdered or something, I block you. It hasn't happened in a while, but I've made PSAs a few times. I'm like, I don't want to see it. It is so fucked up. Sorry, I'm like going on a dark spiral here.
No,
but,
man, and
it's the dark side of the internet that like I could never. Like anytime when we went overseas and like war was rampant when we were growing up in the mid 2000s, and like they would send videos of like this troop was caught and they're gonna cut his head off in the name of Allah or whatever the fuck. I
Nick Berg, the contractor, the first beheading that Al Qaeda did. Remember?
No.
It was like back. I'm pretty sure it was like senior year. And it was a video you could download, and it was Nick Berg. He was like a U.S. contractor, and they fucking chopped his head off. And me and Matt watched it. Me and Muscle White watched it at his house.
So you went to high school with this guy?
Yeah. We met over a. Do you remember the one-legged wrestler Zach?
Zach Gowen.
Yes.
Yeah.
I made a joke in one of our classes we had together, God. And he laughed at it, and then me and him became like buddies off.
Like, hey, you're a sick fuck like me.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, he went to high school with me.
Oh, so you guys are like fucking tight.
Oh, he's a brother of mine.
He knows you.
He
really knows you.
Yeah.
How many of those you got left?
A handful, man, and that's something that
you're very blessed.
And that's again, I grew up fucking trying to make friends. Like I grew up, and it could have come from the parent thing. It could have come from, I've got. Like addiction runs in my family. I was part of the divorce. Like my mom's alcoholic. My dad, not anymore. She's recovering and doing phenomenal. My dad had a gambling problem, and he tried taking care of that from time to time. So it probably came from some weird attention thing being younger. But I pride myself in like building friends and being someone that people can rely on and being a good friend. In my I call them like my family back home, but that's what they are. I've got 7, 8 friends of mine that when I go to California, I have to see them. You know, a couple of them have kids. I see their kids. Like they're just,
That's a beautiful thing,
my
man.
lifers, man. Oh, I'm blessed in that department, man. I feel that, and I don't use blessed lightly. Like I never say it, but you know, I've got such a strong network of friends and family and brothers and sisters and people that I can just love and give me love. I give them love, and Matt's definitely one of them. You're one of them, man. You're hands down somebody that, and I know that we don't have like a past or a history that extends too far, but you know, of all the people out here, Trent too, I consider Trent a very good friend, someone that, you know, hey man, I need help. Like I'm in a situation right now and I need help. Cool.
Yeah.
Give me a second. I'll be there. Let me figure this out. And like, you know, it's
that goes both ways for sure.
Yeah. And that's, you know, and it's not something that is, you know, when I was younger growing up, I felt like, oh, I can just be that way with everybody. And no, because people don't have the time for that on their end either, you know, and it's a thing you have to be selective about, but I feel like that I have a good amount.
I'm embarrassed. I got to take a leak.
I do too. So I was going to ask, do you do that? But I don't want to interrupt. But I'm glad you said
I've never done it before, but there's a first time for everything.
I'll entertain, and then you can entertain.
Yeah, entertain, and then I'll show you where the bathroom is.
Cool. So yeah.
Plug your shit.
Oh yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll plug now. So my name is Bryan. I host the Common Chaos podcast. You can find that at commonchaos.net. You can also get it off Stitcher, Google Podcasts, iTunes, or Apple Podcasts. It's also on Spotify. commonchaos.net is my website. You can go and get all the episodes on there. I also have right now, if you guys are interested and like what you're hearing, you can go over and sign up for my free email list, which launches March 1st. I am doing, right now I have some merch that's left over from my most previous order. I'm just giving it away. Sorry, I'm burping up coffee over here. I'm giving my merch away. You guys can sign up for my email list for free. I promise not to spam you. All I'm going to do is I'm going to send you updates when there's new episodes and when I have like a project or something going on. There's no paywall. You guys don't have to pay for anything. Again, it's free. In the comment section, drop what design you want, drop what size you want, and then I will contact you for your info and I will send it out to you. I appreciate everybody that has already done that. I put that up and it has gotten a lot more attention than I ever thought it would, so I appreciate that. And yeah. It's a good podcast. I hope. I don't know really I don't know how to plug it. Or I don't have a sales pitch or an elevator speech for it. I've interviewed Knives several times. He's generally my year-end guest. He's done it for 2 years in a row. So, Trent Knox, an alumni of this show, has also been on it. I'm actually good. You don't have to pee. We're good.
Oh, dude, you tricked me.
I peed already.
Awesome.
You're gonna have to clean this.
For what it's worth, that was fucking mighty. That was a mighty piss.
Yeah.
That was like what I'd imagine someone who was hungover, who woke up in the middle of the night and had to fucking. It was like there's pushback.
Pushed bag?
I had to go.
You're also drinking a Bang, so.
Yeah. Well, I saved it for this conversation. So I'm curious, man. Not to hardcore do a right turn, but after high school, so I dated a girl that I met my junior year, and I was with her up until I was like 21. And I call those the wasted years because I wanted to be a filmmaker, but this was during a time where it's like, do you know how hard it is to make it? Mm-hmm. You're not going to make it, you know? And so her big thing was love doesn't pay the bills. That was like her big thing. And I went to college. I don't have any debt or anything, and it just didn't take. It was community college. I tried it for a year and a half. And I don't know if I've ever said this on the podcast. Maybe I did. But I would just drive to school and stay in the car, wait for the clock to when my class was over, and then I go back home. I mean, dumb, just waste of money. I was like, I can't do it. When I realized like, oh, college is optional, you don't have to go, and the professors don't give a fuck if you go or not. I was like, this ain't for me. But I wanted to appease my girlfriend at the time to be like, I'm checking off the boxes. Like, you see, I'm gonna be a real man one day, whatever. Until the jig was up. And that's a story for a different time, but it just didn't take. And so when her and I split up, it's one of those hardcore looks. And she was like my high school sweetheart. Like I have a tattoo of her name on me, not super proud of it, but it's there. And went to Mexico when I was 17 to get it. She has one of me. It's whatever. We don't talk. It's fine. But I can recall like when we split, like I hardcore look yourself in the mirror. I have to redefine myself as someone who isn't codependent. Like, who am I? without this person. And so I was like, I'm a filmmaker, man. This is who I am. So I went all in on that again. And for 3 years, like, I would just watch movies, but I never even thought I could be that guy. And so the road to who I became was started like in 2009 for me. So I had like a real kind of just blank space time, like in growing up, and like you're 19, 20, 21, 22. Like, what was that era like for you?
So I'm going to reference your wasted years, right?
Yeah.
So I think that for me, we can call them wasted years just to kind of conceptually match with what you're feeling, right? So outside of high school, I got a job at like a warehouse. I did try the college thing, wasn't fitting. Like, cool, I don't have to spend money, I don't have to do this, I don't even know what I want to do.
Wow.
Awesome. So I got a job at a tile warehouse from my buddy's dad who played guitar, right? So he got me a job there. Worked there for a couple years. So like my girlfriend, who I like 17, first girlfriend, lost virginity too, all that. She also dumped me and like broke my heart. So I went into like a real deep depression. Drank a lot. Didn't have a whole lot of self-worth.
On that note, hold that thought, because I wanted to ask you this. Do you remember the first time you smoked weed?
No.
Was it in high school, or were you already an adult?
I had smoked weed like maybe once or twice in high school. I didn't like it a whole lot. I
Interesting.
ate pot brownies and got
That's a mistake.
fucking annihilated.
That's a mistake.
Oh, man.
At a young age?
Senior. I was a senior.
That's a mistake.
Yeah.
Wow.
My senior year was reckless. My senior year, I was...
What were you going for?
What do you mean?
What were you going for? Why was it reckless?
So because I only had 4 classes. So from the first class of the day in the morning till lunch was all I had to be at school for.
Mm-hmm.
And I I got my first job working like a pizza place, then a grocery store, all within like my senior year. So it was like I would fucking go to school till 12 every day. Some days I worked and I was like 16, 17. So it had to be like part-time, 10, 15 hours, whatever.
Yeah.
Then I was out of school. So I can go hang out with my friends. A lot of my friends started driving. So it was just reckless. How I graduated.
I see.
I just, there wasn't a lot of attention. We ditched constantly.
Yep.
Days where we just didn't show up.
It's crazy that our stories are very, very alike in that way. And I wonder if it's like the product of the time, because you can't blame it on, like, I was in Texas, you were in California, so it's so strange how, yeah, that's the way it was at the time. But so I was curious about that. I smoked weed the first time I was 12 years old.
Ooh,
and when I look
young.
back at that now, like, what the fuck? I was a baby.
So my dad was a gigantic Yes and Rush fan. And one of the first concerts I went to was a Yes concert with him at the Universal Amphitheater.
What's their song? What's like their main song?
I fucking Roundabout is like a huge Yes song.
How's that one go?
Oh, I fucking couldn't tell you. Yeah, no.
Yes.
But they're
I've
like
never heard of this band.
they're a hippie fucking like Rush, just fucking super epic bass lines, like really like Led Zeppelin-y, or not Led Zeppelin, but like Pink Floyd trippiness, right?
Yeah.
He smoked weed at the concert, so I'm pretty sure I got like contact high.
I see.
And like that was a weird dynamic of my parents too. They smoked weed and like hid it from us for a long time. Like it was weird.
Were you disappointed when you found out they did that?
A little bit because
it's illegal.
Yeah, and like
say no to drugs.
You don't want me hanging out with friends that do it and like all
Right.
that. And it's like that's actually a dynamic that you want to talk about relationships and parenting. We could probably expand on that a little bit at another time, but that was a weird dynamic. So weed to me was never like a big deal. Until I started like actually hanging around with friends that did it. And then I had the friends that were like advocates for it. Hey man, it's just a plant, gave me like that whole perspective. And it's like, okay,
There's
cool.
always that.
Learning it. And
that's how they got me. My cousin was like, sorry for outing you, Mo, was like, how can you hate something that you've never even tried? Right. You got to try it. I was like, after saying no, like 4 weeks in a row, I was just like, man, just try it, and, but looking back, 12 years old, there was no police, or like by police I mean like parenting figures to be like do you know what you're getting yourself into? Like me, I'm not a helicopter parent by any means, but like with my son, I'm just like, dude, if you do it, just let me know, and I just want to know. Like, I don't necessarily care, because here's the thing, like, it's legal in half the country. Like, it's hard for me I can't throw morals at you and say don't do it when it's legal in Washington or what have you, but Just let me know, please, because I just want to. I just want to know. Yeah.
If you think about doing it one day, let me know.
I can't, and I've always told him, like, dude, it's going to be somebody cooler than your dad, me, that's gonna get you to try it, and you won't be able to say no to that because they're cool. And what's the worst that can happen? And I just want to know that you're safe, son. That's it, you know. So just please let me know. But I was curious about that. I wanted to ask you, and so going back to this post breakup, you were in a depression. You started drinking. Like, how did you? That's something I never fucked with. I've drank here and there, glass of wine. You know, on New Year's is about as extreme as I get. I talked to you on your show about the Irishman. Like that's an anomaly. That's a drop in the bucket. Like I do not drink. But
now, or did you used to?
Never. Like
Okay.
Like now, like when I interface with people, because I'm an alien. That's how I refer to interfacing with people. I will tell them like I don't drink, I don't smoke. I got drug-free tattooed on my knuckles. I have a tattoo of like the Sprite logo. It was like my CM Punk Pepsi thing of just like I don't fuck with that.
Yeah.
And people assume two things about me when I tell them that I'm drug-free, alcohol-free, and that I'm a father. They assume these two things. It's an automatic assumption, which is number one. They assume I don't live with my kids. And they assume that I'm in recovery. And to me, those are two, like, I understand that, but no, it's like, I came from a family of drug dealers, and no, I live with my kids. What the fuck's the matter with you? But so like, how did you get into drinking? How old were you? And like, and I'm sorry that I'm harping on that. It's just because like, how does one fall into that? How did it happen?
So, I mean, like parties in high school, you go and you drink, and like I was freshman or
Drinking
like,
beer.
Yeah,
Did you like shotgun stuff?
Yeah,
or?
yeah. I mean, you know, that's like the progression, right? Like, yeah, junior, senior year, start going to parties. You know, I never got super peer pressured into it, you know, but it was, hey, are you gonna drink? Yeah, I guess I'll try it. Yeah, that's cool. And like, you know, me and my friends all probably tried it around the same time. I've definitely tried some stuff with my friends for the first time, and like, you know, had those experiences. So the post high school, right? Let's say I'm depressed from like 18 till like whenever I find a new girlfriend at like 19 or 20, right? And that's all fine and hunky dory. But I wasn't, emotionally, I was a very weak person.
Are you saying emotionally you were a very weak person?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? What is emotionally weak to your definition?
So one, not being emotionally mature, so not being able to have a handle on my emotions, right? Like letting myself get upset easily. You know, my girlfriend I lost my virginity to. That's a lot of like emotional investment, right? First person you sleep with, first person you tell you love them. It's a first relationship. You're doing things together. You know, when that happened, when I got dumped, even though it was so trivial and like a high school relationship, like, okay, they never work, right? At 19, 18, you don't know that, you know, it's your world is ending. And, you know, I didn't have good communication skills in terms of like telling people how I felt. That probably comes from my parents. So I went through this really weird patch in my life where, I'd gotten, so I got fired from that warehouse job, right? And within like 3 or 4 months, my mom lost her job, and we had a house. Yeah. And so like our house went into foreclosure. We lost our house. It was like a snowball effect of things.
That's brutal.
Yeah. And then so, you know, I dated a girl for a bit during that period, and like we're living with my mom in an apartment at one time with my sister. So 4 people in a 2-bedroom apartment.
Wow.
Weird situation, you know, and like,
is the cost of living
it's same. It's about the same.
It's about the same.
Austin's probably overtaken it a little bit over the last couple of years, but we moved from Palm Springs out here because
how old were you around this time?
21, 22.
Oof.
Yeah. So
I'm curious. During this time, you know,
doing the band though, so like I have my outlets.
You do, okay.
But the band is like,
what was?
party all the
Had you ever considered, you know, a career at that time? What? Like, obviously, there's pressure, right?
No. And so see, that's kind of
Interesting.
you know, the music thing was fun and everybody was into it, and so this is how like that situation transpired. So I'm in this like really weird situation when I'm like it might have been like 19, 20, where I'm living with my mom and this girlfriend at the time, and we have like this weird living situation, right? And she at the time is like, hey, I think you could do a lot better. I think you could, definitely stop like having, having people dependent on you, especially when you're the only one that's like working. Like my sister was still in high school. My mom went through a little bit of a midlife thing after we lost the house, right? Kind of lost her way. And there was, a time where all I cared about was having a good time.
Really?
Playing music. Of course, when you're in a band. So I move out of like the apartment, right? I get that situation taken care of. I'm actually finally out on my own with my girlfriend in our own apartment, and I make stupid decisions, and that relationship ends, right?
Like because what? Can you talk about that?
I was being an asshole, flirting around. Like,
really?
Yeah.
You fucked with that?
Yeah, and so like I didn't even do it, but I was talking to a girl.
I see.
And, like,
have you ever pulled the trigger with that?
No, not with like a serious girlfriend. When I say serious girlfriend, it's because me and this girl at the time had been dating like over a year, exclusively, right? I mean, there's been girls that like.
Did she call it? Your girlfriend at the time? Did she call like I'm out?
Yeah.
Did you guys pay like rent together or?
Yeah, we did, and so like I had to move out.
Ooh,
and
you moved out.
Yeah, so what I did is I moved into the band house because my drummer, my guitarist, my bassist all lived together, and they were like, "Dude, fucking come live with us." And I was like, absolutely. So I moved in with them, and that's when shit got real weird.
Like
so
what?
Between like 2009 to like 2008 to like 2010, I'm just fucking partying. I worked at Bevmo, which is like a twin liquor kind of, but in California, no weird liquor laws. So I just work at this place where you can just go and buy alcohol all the time. Wow. So, and I got free alcohol because I work there. Like I got a 6-pack or whatever.
That's the ideal gig for someone who's in the band house.
Yes. Oh yeah, yeah. And so
you're the guy.
Yeah. So it was fun. It was like, we would have shows at our house, friends, parties, all of us. I still talk to all of them. We're great friends, like a little great environment. But of course, being where I'm at now, was I working towards a career? No. Was I really following my dream of wanting to be a musician and wanting to do that? No, I was half-assing it for sure, 100%. Because we're all 18, 19, 20, 21. The age is kind of expanded, right? Nobody knows proper communication skills to like a level where they can manage a band functionally.
It's very hard to take yourself seriously and be like, I'm going to be a businessman like at 19.
But it's also hard to like take yourself seriously and like, because looking back on it, we were all really passionate about being in a band and doing the thing, right? But of course, nobody had all their ducks in a row to where they were like the responsible one. So like a couple guys didn't work at the time, right? One of them left to go join the military because he wasn't working. He didn't have a job. And like, okay.
Did he come back very hard?
He's killing it now. Yeah. Yeah. But he went straight laced and is fucking killing it. With wife and kids now. So we ended up moving out of the house and then just, nobody would come to a practice here. Nobody in that. So just kind of disbanded. There was some weird friendship stuff. One of my really good friends, me and him kind of had this weird falling out that we've never talked about, or addressed.
You guys rekindle that?
Oh, I mean, we're cool, but we've also never like discussed why we weren't cool.
Was it around a girl?
No.
Okay.
No, it was, another, it's a long story, but, there just wasn't any emotional intelligence within me and within, the other people. Not to say that, like, I'm not blaming anybody at all. Like, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just saying, like, hey, none of us are at a spot in our life where we had it all together and we could help others get it together, you know? And if there's anything that I recognize now, it's like, hey, I can't expect to be a part of a team, especially since I am in a leadership capacity now and I have to lead people. Yeah. There's always going to be this, like, fluctuating level of what's going, like, not everybody's gonna have all their ducks in a row all the time, right? Someone gets in a car accident, someone fucking gets sick, so there's always this like fluctuating thing, right? The ones that can pull it together are the ones that can address all those things and still maintain, right? And like, that's why bands get managers because you can't fucking run the show. Let me run the show. You guys listen to me, write the music, do your thing. But when it comes to showing up on time, making sure practices hit, making sure you're doing the show, making sure you're scheduling this, making sure the funds are done. Yep. That takes management. That takes, someone, a leader. That takes someone to run that ship. And, I use that analogy, that captain of the ship, for a lot of things. It could be just individually, your home life, your relationship with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever it is. You know, there's and there's also something else you said too. You said all in, right? Like your chips all in on this one project.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that, and maybe we can expand on this a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but I always thought that's what I needed to do, right? I always thought that I needed to go all in on something. And if it wasn't going to be the music, if it wasn't going to be the wrestling, because when I was in high school, I wanted to be a wrestler. Like, if it wasn't going to be the job I was working at the time, if it wasn't going to be one thing that I was going to put all myself into,
Mm-hmm.
then what was that one thing? And I think that that's like an identity crisis people come up with nowadays or experience is we're expected to almost only do one thing. We're expected to almost,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you go in, you're all in or you're out. Like there's no in between. And when it comes to filmmaking, like, yeah, if you want to be the fucking next Quentin Tarantino, you probably do have to go all in, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that there's a perspective that people need to put into place and understand that, you know, you can do 2 or 3 different things. Like I'm not trying to become in my current capacity, fucking, you know, like an executive leader at my current job. I'm not trying to become the fucking next Joe Rogan, and I'm not
Damn
trying
it, I thought
to
we could go the whole show without
I
him.
know.
I'm just kidding.
And I'm not trying to become like this fucking jujitsu master, right? But when I do the things that I do, I put 100% into them.
Yes.
And that comes with like having to prioritize, managing your life. You have to be able to manage your life if you want to be able to manage things, right?
That's right.
And I think that it took me a long time to realize that. It took me a long time to realize that, hey, I can have my feet in different doors and get benefits out of all of them and experience the highs and the lows of all of them and make something out of all of those things, but not if I'm not fully invested in them when I am invested in them. Does that make sense?
Of course.
Like, hey, my work, when I leave work, that's off. I'm now on to like the podcast stuff or the gym stuff or whatever it is. And in order to manage that successfully, you have to be able to set like boundaries and delegate and be able to do all these different fucking things.
And also be committed.
And be committed, yeah.
You have to show up.
Yes. And like, you're going to have your tough days. You're going to have your test days. You're going to have your days where you don't want to get up. You're going to have your days where you're going to do it and you're going to fail still. Like you're going to do a really shitty recording or you're going to have a shitty, you know, equipment's going to break and you're not going to be able to do something. But it's that weird understanding that, hey, it's I don't know, dude, I can't fucking explain it. And what irritates me is I've always called it like being woke. Like my example of being woke, if I had to define woke, and I'm trying to work on that right now, I'm trying to actually fix the definition. I've put it up on Reddit a couple times. I'm trying to fix the definition of woke. Because right now, if you're woke, you want to use 80 pronouns and you want to fucking socialism.
Right.
And there's a weird woke definition that's out there.
Yeah, I know.
And when I first heard woke, I heard woke from like a Chris Rock joke a long time ago. And it was how...
What's the joke?
I can't even tell you what the joke was, but the premise of it is that it's a guy that's trying to, like, the shitty drug dealer always gets the chick, right? Always gets the hot babe and the hot chick. And it takes one shitty drug dealer to actually put in work and have his life successful, you know, be successful in different areas. But he still sells weed like on the side, right? Like he's still the drug dealer that can get the chicks, but he's like the professional drug dealer and he understands how things work and things happen.
Yeah.
And it might not even be Chris Rock now that I'm thinking about it, but the joke is you're woke, you got woke. Like that's it. Like you understand how life works. You understand that, you know, cause there's always this like victim mentality that can be played or this, you know, the people that just go through the motions in life and never really follow their dreams or do what makes them happy or get fulfillment out of anything. Or then there's the people that, you know, they understand effort. They understand hard work. They understand what being like an emotionally intelligent person is and how relationships work and how interactions work and communication works and perspective. And they understand like the different facets of life, right?
Right.
But you can't like umbrella that and say, oh, hey, you're this, you're that. So I've always like equated woke as being like, dude, you're woke. You know how shit works. You know that politics are this. You know that Hollywood is made to fucking as a weird like distraction or whatever.
What about like self-awareness?
Self-awareness is a part of it.
That's a part of it, but it's not the whole thing.
Because I think you can be self-aware and still miss marks, you know. And
Yeah.
I don't know. And maybe
I think you're
maybe
right.
woke isn't like an end game, you know. Maybe it's like a destiny, like
what I like about what you're talking about is, you know, I've been telling my son a whole lot because I feel like sometimes I'm not a great dad. Like sometimes I'm like, I'm the dad like I wish I was, but sometimes I'm not the dad that he needs.
Right.
You know, and they're not the same. And so oftentimes, you know, I've been telling him like, and this is like some 4D chess shit of like, son, just so you know, like everything that I'm saying, take the shit that's useful and the stuff that's not, it can fuck off.
The Bruce Lee, like this, take what's necessary, discard what's not.
100%. And because like you spend half your, let's just say, you know, the lifespan of from 0 to 30, you spend 0 to 27 learning, and then you spend 27 to 30 unlearning a lot of stuff that's just like, I don't need that, it doesn't work for me, that's not my style, this and that. And that's part of like being woke. Unfortunately, like the term woke has been co-opted and just ruined by libtards. By people who, there's an agenda there. It's not about getting this collective consciousness to a higher equilibrium. It's more like political, right? So for sure, and you know, I don't know what that is, but I know what you're talking about.
That higher self or that like higher perspective, right? Like,
It's kind,
you know the meme where the dude's brain is like, and
Yeah,
then, like,
and then-
it's a lighter, and then yeah.
Of course, like, and woke to me, that's a perfect way to put
How
that.
do you feel that too, though? I think that that's to kind of tie it back to what you were asking me, like those wasted years, right? I remember specifically being 25 and
25.
yeah, and I had just gotten out of a relationship, and I ended this relationship because I was just like not happy. I was fat, I was overweight, I was, which are the same thing, but I was, you know, I didn't have the best relationship with my mom. I didn't have the best relationship with my sister at the time, you know, and they had their own shit going on. And not to say that it was me that was hampering it or them that was hampering it or these other relationships that I had, but it took a lot of like digging and a lot of like reflection and meditating on like, hey, the situation's only going to get better if I try to make it better. All I can do is it's 50-50, me and you, right? But I have to give my 100%, just like if I'm doing it in a job or in a
How did you
extracurricular.
come to this realization? Was it a crisis?
It wasn't. No. I mean, maybe
Was it
not,
all at once?
Maybe not one crisis. No, man. I was just. I mean, I don't know if there was like a light switch moment where it like got turned on, and all of a sudden I was like, "That's what I need to do." But I remember when I got out of that relationship, I felt shitty because I was being selfish. But I remember telling myself, "You have to do this for yourself. You can't do it for anybody else but yourself. Yes, you're going to hurt some feelings. Yes, some people might get upset at you. Yes, people might get mad.
Now you're thinking about the future.
Yes, but in order for you to be happy, you have to do this for yourself." It was a tough month afterwards. Like, it was a weird awkwardness at like friend get-togethers and parties and things like that. But as long as I didn't falter, as long as I stood my ground and was like, "Hey, this is how it's going to be," I ended up being at peace with that decision, you know, and me and her are still friends where, you know, it never created any long lasting scars or anything weird because I was able to, I think, be honest with myself first, you know, and hey, this is how it's going to be. It is going to be tough. It is going to be a challenge.
So that didn't come from you weren't apprenticing. You didn't have a mentor that passed that down to you. That was self-taught?
No, I mean, self-taught in the way that like I discovered it through like trial and error, no doubt. Like I probably had a friend that was, you know, "Hey man, you should maybe try this," or I can give you an example of like that, I guess, mentor thing, right? Like, moving out here to Texas, I had come out here and had like just this, okay, what can I experience? And I remember working for this
What year was this?
2016. You know, and something that I carry with me now is I got hired on by this gentleman. His name's Adrian Marshall, and he was like, "Hey, I understand what makes teams work, and it's when you care about your people. And, you know, so if you're going to come on board and you're going to be a part of this team, you got to make sure you care about your people." And that stuck with me to where I can now translate that and say, hey, you know, team building requires trust, requires, you know, interpersonal relationship building. Like there's a bunch of different aspects to that, but I was able to like be shown the light, right? And it's now transformed the way that I approach relationships and I approach, you know, team building relationships and things like that. You know, I had a friend that got really into fitness. So around the same time when I'm breaking up with that girl, right? You know, I was getting into shape. I was going to a gym with one of my good buddies of mine, and he was also overweight. And he's like, "Dude, I'm just trying to lose weight." And eventually we were fucking like impressed with ourselves, so impressed with ourselves that we were like, you know, hey, it was all, that was like a moment where you're like, man, I've felt so good about myself lately that it's no wonder like these good things have been happening, you know, because I've been happy, or I've been projecting the happiness. I haven't let people's attitudes get in my way. I haven't let, you know, the crazy fucking road rage bitch piss me off. Like I've been able to deflect all these moves and fucking juke and still make it to the end zone and still get my fucking 6 points.
It's a good feeling.
And I'm feeling good about it. Yeah. And then as you do that more and more, you realize, okay, man, it's those little tweaks in myself that I'm making that are, now it's projection for real. Now I'm able to go and like smile at people all the time. So even when they do give me attitude, you get like a weird reaction, I'm going to keep smiling. That's probably going to piss people off some more, you know, but
you're going to live your truth.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I have stickers that say live your truth, because that's a very, that's what I think it all comes down to too, is or not what it all comes down to, but a big part of this self-awareness, or this, you know, getting woke or whatever it is, you know, you may not find yourself by asking the 1, the 2, the 3 important questions. You might not find yourself through a day of meditating. Like, you may not find yourself. And that's what I find is really heartbreaking, is there's people that are going through life that still haven't found themselves, that are 60. I just got done reading You Are a Badass. And that's all it's about. It's about, hey, if you want to go out and do this, like, have conviction behind it. And if hopefully it aligns with like your morals and your values, and you're doing it for this self-fulfilling reason, you know, but if you're going to do it, just go do it. Like, don't sit on the couch and say, oh, I wish I could, or I'm going to one day. Like, if you don't get started, you're never going to get anywhere in the first place. So that's right. And I think that's also with like the self-improvement aspect. Like, if you don't really strive to figure out who you are, or what you want out of life at the very least, like, I still don't necessarily know what I want to be in like 5 years, or where I want to be, or what I want to make whatever I'm working on now turn into. But I know what my happiness is, and it's being able to have like good lasting relationships with people, you know, being able to be honest and communicative with people, and build, because that's how you build genuine friendships, you know. And that, you know, I'm never going to do anything that stifles my values. I'm never going to do anything that I wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't ever do anything that would question like my integrity to myself, if that makes sense.
Well, that's good. I mean, I assume during those, we'll just call them lost years, that maybe you did.
Transformative years. Oh, and let me go back to that, because you called them lost years.
Well, for me, they were, yes.
Why are they lost? Because they're not like little lessons and nuggets you can pull out of them?
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Absolutely, like but at the same time, like I broke. That coffee's hitting you, bro.
It is. I got to pee so bad.
Do you need to?
So I do.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna swap out a battery right here.
Okay, cool.
Oh, that worked. That came out at a good time, because I got to swap my battery here. So
yeah, dude. I'm sorry. I wasn't planning on like a life, or like not a life story, but I don't have formulated thoughts going into this, because it's so like
good, because I didn't want to be like, we're gonna talk about current events. Like, I'm not. It's not that kind of show. But you asked me about what I refer to as the lost years. So I forgot where I heard this, but I think there's probably nothing worse that you could do to yourself, other than like, you know, capital murder or something, than like betray your own ideals or integrity. And you now know, oh, I know what my happiness is, and I don't want to jeopardize that. Why would I break that? I mean, I did that. I did that from 17 to 21.
Break your happiness?
Absolutely, because I was living for somebody else's paradigm, not for mine.
You did say that, and I was going to comment and say, you know, it's never good that you're living for somebody else.
I would never I would fight for I would fight for my son to not do that, you know. Like, I don't want anybody to, like, nobody should have to do that. Like, part of my purpose, like my primary huge passion purpose in life, is like to, like, you say like woke, this thing, right? It's like an activation, like when you realize, oh fuck, this is what I'm going for, what I'm trying, or what I'm here to do. I feel like it's my responsibility, and I think I talked about this on your show, is to be like Morpheus in the Matrix, and like wake people up out of the Matrix.
I was just to say unplug them, yeah. Like
unplug them, yeah. and so you can activate into like their real life. And like Knives Monroe in you know 2006, 7, 8, 9, like I was not living my life. I was not living my truth. And instead, like, I was going through the motions and like cheating on myself with somebody else so they could be happy. And here's the thing, spoiler alerts, they weren't even happy, right? They left me. So it was like, all for what? Like, turned down for fucking what? It wasn't worth it. And the only good thing that came out of it was I was like, oh, I lost that time. Now I had to make up for it. So I felt like this overwhelming pressure to be like, I'm 21. I want to be a filmmaker and I haven't made a movie yet. How can that be? Like, I can't. How could that be? This is before social media and before.
Can you pinpoint anything out of those years that you consider to be like a win? And I ask because,
Sure.
I mean, I look at,
That's a good question.
I kind of think empty years, right? Maybe they're empty because there wasn't much of fulfillment out of them. But I mean, like, I was definitely having a good time during those years in my life. In the moment, I was having fun. But looking back, yeah, those years didn't attribute to anything I have now other than
For
maybe social
me,
skills.
like, almost nothing. Like, almost nothing. Like, I remember.
That's fair.
I remember getting credit cards, maxing them out, never paying for them. That's a shitbag, scumbag thing to do. I did it in 7 years. They dropped off. My credit's great. Like, today, my credit's great. Like, it's such a douchebag thing to do. I remember, like, the pivotal moment that was like, okay, the Titanic hit the iceberg and then there was no going back was, I rented There Will Be Blood, which is my favorite movie now. And I got it on DVD and I was watching it and I had to go to class. And so I thought, oh, I'll watch the first half and then I'll go to class, I'll come back and I'll finish it. I never went back to school again when I put this movie on. And I was like, how could I have... The movie was so inspiring to me as from a filmmaker perspective that I was like, the wasted years came and hit me of like, why am I not living my truth? Like, why did I put this on the shelf to die, like my dream? And my girlfriend called me and she was like, hey, like, are you almost out of class? And I was like, yeah, I'm still at school. Yeah, I should be getting out shortly, whatever. And she's like, no, you're fucking not. You're at your house and I'm outside like your window. And I was like, fuck. And that was the beginning of the end. And I was just like, damn it, like, I'm busted. And she was just like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, it was hard for me to be like, there was this movie that, like,
Because it sounds so dumb.
And I also lied to her, but I was lying to myself. And so, like, if I could pull any cool thing out of it, it's actually really, really hard. I had some good times and great memories with friends that, like, as corny as this sounds, like, I can recall, like, I went hard when I was hanging out with them. Like, I went hard. I really enjoyed it. I was very present, and I remember feeling like this ain't gonna last forever, but I love it right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's very self-indulgent in that way. And honestly, like, if you were to ask me, and this is so selfish, and maybe it's my state of mind today, and maybe if I had a better state of mind, I wouldn't say this answer. But, like, I mean, I got laid a lot during that time with this person, and so I got to really figure out what I like sexually and, like, what I didn't like and, like, who I was sexually. That's a good time. Like, that was a good time for that. Like, I figured myself out sexually. But even then, who gives a fuck? That has nothing. That's not a contributing factor. Like, I was still a dependent. I still lived with my mom. Like,
There's certain things in there, I think, though,
honestly,
that do. Because, and I was going to say this a second
it's
ago.
embarrassing to say, but, like, okay, I put some deposits into Spank Bank.
But I mean,
There's
you're
not really much to be proud of there.
maybe not proud. Like, you may not want to hold pride with that, but
And I'm not.
and I was going to say this a second ago, but, like, what my happiness is now may change in 5 years. Like, I can't predict that, but I also can't control it. If 4.5 years down the road, there's, like, some weird urge I'm getting and it's calling me and it's, it's either I'm thinking about that or I'm at work or I'm distracted by it and it's just something that I need to figure out in myself and figure out what that is, then I approach it and I adapt and I overcome. Like, you're going to change constantly. What is important in my opinion is understanding how to embrace that change, how to accept that change, how to, move forward and move past it. And I think that's where people do get into their pitfalls or do get into, because you're lucky to be doing that at 21, maxing out credit cards and, being a bum, right? For lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And
I was certainly maximizing my privilege.
yeah. And so imagine being 40 and then doing that.
No,
and there
no.
are people that are still there, there are people
right.
that are still in that realm.
Yeah.
And those are the ones where I'm just like, man, if you did catch the wind of what you wanted at 20, imagine what you'd be doing right now, right? Imagine if you did make your film at 17 or whatever it is.
Right.
And it's a weird caveat to like say, oh, you know, it's if only I could have done it differently. Well, like you can't do it differently.
I don't fuck with that too much of like the woulda, coulda, shouldas.
Okay.
I really don't. I don't. I'm not saying that you thought I did, but I don't. I'm pretty good at like it's what it is.
The people that I don't think get on the path or live their truth or find that process are stuck in that though.
Oh, fucking
you know
A.
what I'm saying?
Fucking
I
A.
think that's where it's, you know, hey man, there's no better time than like the now. And I know that sounds cliche, but it's whatever second you don't spend on yourself and figuring yourself out is a second you're losing because you're going to die one day. And it's going to suck a whole lot if you figure out
if you
what
wake up,
truly
you're 40.
makes you happy at 60. Like you're going to be real pissed off. And there's, you know, unfortunately, like I know that there's this, you know, anybody can accomplish anything and anybody can. No, when you're 60, your will is shot. Like the chances of you accomplishing something at 60 when you've never tried it or you've never even attempted to figure out how diminishes so quickly because you don't have the spunk when you're 20. You don't have the you know, at 30, like I realize now, hey, I need sleep. Like when I was in my 20s, sleep didn't fucking matter to me, bro. I didn't care about getting 8 hours of sleep. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
No, I'll sleep for 2 hours and drink an energy drink.
I saw a TikTok where this guy was like, it was some Navy SEAL guy, Jocko looking motherfucker that was like, if you get 8 hours of sleep every day for a whole year, you were asleep for 4 months. That fucks me up a little. You know, my mantra growing up.
What the fuck?
That's right. Yeah, my mantra, and it makes sense because it's a 30-year day, right? Brian is doing math. He doesn't believe it.
Wow.
If the Navy SEAL said it, it has to be true. But my mantra growing up, and this is not good. Like I did a lot of shit, and this is age and maturation and like being a father talking. I did a lot of shit that I'm like, why did people let me do that? You know. One of the things was like sleep was like I did not sleep. Like I have to take melatonin because I can't turn off my brain.
Oh, I think not sleeping back then, like
you could probably get away with it, but I can't now. Like,
no,
because I don't need to. And then I go to sleep at 12 noon, and then I gotta I cannot do that. Like as a parent now, like, and I haven't, but so I've trained myself to sleep. But my mantra from like during those lost years or wasted years was like sleep is for suckers. I had saw like some Arcade Fire or I don't know what band it was, like Lyric or
We Will Never Sleep because sleep is for the weak and we will never rest till we're all fucking dead.
That's a good one, but it was something like I think it was like sleep is giving in no matter what. And like I was just like, you're right, because like this sort of like Eastern sort of like when you're asleep, the enemy's getting better, like type of thing where I was like, and I was just like loading programs of like movies or scripts or screenwriting or self-development or whatever that I could, that like I probably got brain damage from not sleeping during that time. Like the longest I've gone without sleeping was 8 days, and I was seeing shit, you know, it was terrible. And you know, that's just something, you know, I can't get away with. But I will say that like I got a lot out of life. Like I was not like a hedonist or anything. I've never done like the Burning Man thing, but like I got to fuck whoever I wanted. I got to stay up and like do whatever I wanted, go wherever I wanted, you know. And I did that. Like it was a selfish, self-indulgent like time. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't putting in the reps. And that's like ultimately I don't want to say I regret that. I don't, you know, so the optimist, positive person in me is like, I don't regret that. But it was certainly time that like I look at as like I will never get that time back. And that hurts more than anything. And I think that's why I have a sense of urgency today. If I'm talking to a family member or a friend or somebody, and I have to say this, and Trent brought this to my attention. So if Trent, if you're hearing this and you made it this far, this one's for you, buddy. But and he didn't say this, but it occurred to me of like, I think I'm a pretty judgy person, you know, like in the Tupac sense of like only God can judge me or whatever. Like, and I don't mean to do it, but it comes from like I don't want people to waste their time, like the time that they get on the rock. Like I don't want them to waste it. And so if somebody's like, I don't know what I want to do, and like I might go back to school, or like, you know, they kind of just tell you like, they just say it. but they're not looking for it's unsolicited, right? They're
Mm-hmm.
not looking for advice. I'm the type of person that's like, you got to find your passion, man. What's your passion? Like, what is it that makes you happy? Like, and they're just like, dude, bro, chill. And I don't, and I think it comes from like don't waste your fucking years, man. Like, that's the worst thing you can do. I'm terrified of that. And I remember being 24 and thinking, I'm fucking old, man. I'm old. Like, I'm barely making a movie at 24. I remember, dude, what the fuck? What kind of thought is that? Like, but it just comes from this overcompensation of, I don't want to waste time, because I lived a life for, I mean, and honestly, I was being a pussy. Like, I'll say that for me. Like, I should have at 16, you know, I know the moment where I should have told this girl, like, I'm fucking out. I'm going to choose me.
Yeah.
You don't do that when you're at that age. But, you know,
The emotional intelligence isn't there.
It was more like I would call that particular note like self-worth. My self-worth wasn't there of like, if you don't believe in me, then you can go fucking fuck off.
Right.
You know? Instead I was like, you know, that pussy was just too good. You know, like it's stupid. It's a stupid way of thinking, but when you're a kid, that's the way you think. And at the time when you said it, like, you know, when you're with your first girlfriend, like, you think I want to hold this forever, right? But I traded my dream for that, and it wasn't authentic to me. And so I betrayed myself in that way. And I don't want people unconsciously do that to themselves, whether they know it or not. And it's quite a shame. It's quite a shame. And, you know, I'm a big believer in, you are the 4 or 5 people that you have around you, you know, that culture. And so if you're going to fuck with me in my life, like, you need to be up. Like, you need to be woke. You need to know that you need to invest in yourself. I don't care what it is. Like, you could be the best accountant in the world or mechanic in the world, but, like, wake up and be psyched and stoked for life. Like, because you only get the one, all the shit that you're saying. And so I'm trying to work on maybe listening more and appreciating stuff more and not judging as much. I'm very quick to be like, wait, what? Like, you bank at Wells Fargo? Not that I do that, but I'm just like, huh? Like, I don't know if you're doing the right things for you. It's like, well, who the fuck am I? I ain't a life coach. Like, this is unsolicited advice. So I've learned that from talking to Trent, because, like, I have, like, this older brother, and I'm an older brother too. I have this older brother. He's the younger brother sort of thing, relationship. And that's really unfair to him. Like, it just is. Like, why can't we be equals? But I don't know why I see myself as like, you're the white belt. I'm the blue belt. I'm not sunning you. It's just like, you know,
Got a little more skin in the game.
I show up every day is all. I take it seriously. You know what I mean? That's all. Not that you don't, but, like, you know, it's just what it is. But I'm trying to work on that personally, man. Speaking of that, how did you get into jiu-jitsu?
So
I've been dying to ask you that.
Around the when I was like 24, 25, so it was 2000 and I turned 21 in 2008, so 2012, 2011, I was like 24, 25, right when I started getting into shape. I started training my good buddy JJ. Took me to it's like an MMA gym in Palm Springs, California, or in Indio, actually. It was run by Cub Swanson. Shout out to Cub. It was called True MMA at the time. And I started just training there and trained there for a couple years, and trained like other places, other gyms, got really into like weightlifting, got really into just fitness. And I'm a huge like MMA fan. I got into MMA with my buddy John and a bunch of other friends back in the day. And, you know, never really was like, oh yeah, that'd be cool to do. And then just got into it. And then jiu-jitsu was just a progression from that, like really wanting to get into jiu-jitsu. I grew up never being in a fight. I've never, ever been in like a actual altercation fight. There's been several different instances where it could have gone down, as kids like to say. You know, and I found myself being 18, 19, full of spunk, you know, ready for whatever, and being in situations that probably could have turned out bad, you know. And then like, as you're getting into it, realizing like, oh, hey, I probably should learn to like defend myself. I probably should learn some sort of like, you know, defense system or like martial art. I did karate when I was little, but I'm definitely not sidekicking anybody in the face. So,
Remember Three Ninjas?
Oh yeah, Rocky, Cub, and right.
It was Tum Tum
Tum
and
Tum
Colt.
and Colt. Yeah, Rocky, Colt, and Tum Tum.
I wouldn't have remembered until you said, who did Clum, or what'd you say?
I said Cub because I was
Cub.
probably thinking about
And I
Cub.
was like,
it was
is it
Colt.
Cub?
You're right.
Colt.
And then Tum Tum. One of my good friends, Mike. We actually call him Tum Tum because he's got a big tummy.
Nice.
That's his nickname. So I should have remembered that.
Yeah. So you're a blue belt.
Yeah, just recently. Well, last year, July.
Congratulations, man. You could kick my
Thanks,
ass.
I don't know about that.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know about that.
I'm pretty sure I would have to sneak attack you to even have a chance. I'd have to have a blunt object.
You know, and it's for anybody that isn't in like a martial arts or jiu-jitsu, and it doesn't have to be jiu-jitsu, it could be anything. But there's just a different, that also taught me a lot about like myself and you know, you go into a gym and you're new and you have an attitude with someone, you're gonna get checked. You're gonna get checked real quick. You know, you're gonna get put in your place.
And what
you're gonna understand life.
What I love about jiu-jitsu, and like we need to talk about it more, like as a society, is that there's so much talking. There's so much talking shit. There's so much delusion, like attitude of like, I could do this, or like this person doesn't. But it's like, unless you have the stones to go up on stage and like do an open mic, shut the fuck up. Because if you've never done it, don't even talk about it. Or if you've never been in a fight and have been like humbled in that way, right? Like jiu-jitsu is, I think Jocko calls it like what? Like jiu-jitsu is life in that way.
It's one of the best ways to learn discipline, because however long you're there for, if you're there for an hour, 2 hours, however long your classes, or if you're at a decent place, chances are you're working with people that will choke you out and will put you to sleep. And it's a very humbling experience being put out. It's a very humbling experience realizing that someone who you think is inferior to you, smaller, maybe weaker in some areas, and how they just put your lights out, you know. And that goes with fighting, boxing, you know.
It's an
Muay
ego
Thai.
check.
It is. It's a self check. Yeah.
It's healthy.
Very healthy. Yeah. Anybody who says martial arts is like too violent or there's better. No.
That's like some jock shit, or like you got to be a meathead for that, or
yeah, or like that it breeds violence in its own way. Like, no, it doesn't. Like, if there's anything that martial arts or self-defense, whether it be Krav Maga, any type of just physical system that if it teaches you anything, it's that humility, and that, you know, it very well could be you and somebody else, and hopefully you have the ability to defend yourself. Because if it's in a situation where someone wants to take it too far and you don't know what you're doing, people die, you know. People die all the time. Every day people die, you know. And it's something as simple as fucking getting beat up too much, taking too many shots to the head, someone pushing you down, you hitting your head, getting stabbed. You know, if someone's got a gun, you might be fucked just in general. I don't think jiu-jitsu is going to defend you from a gun at all, but you know, if someone, it doesn't matter. Like and it also teaches you not to jump at people, because you don't know who's going to fuck you up.
That's right.
You know, it teaches you to put yourself in check, and it teaches you to have discipline and control of your emotions, your fucking reactions, a bunch of different things. Highly recommend it. Any martial art, not just jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is just, there's no blood and punching and kicking. It's hey, I'm going to come in, I'm going to break your arm, I'm going to choke you out, I'm going to leave. I'm going to get in, get out, boom, incapacitate you, however, and then, you know.
Yeah.
It's not like a...
Ooh, you're getting me excited. I don't want to be that guy that says, yeah, I would like to do it, and then doesn't do it. Like, there is something... One thing I liked about the backyard wrestling that we would do is...
certain level of toughness.
50-50. I mean, it's like the song...
You're really scaring people. They're like, I don't know.
If you're going to be dumb, you got to be tough.
Right.
In that regard, it's kind of tough. But, you know, 50% of the time we would call the matches. Sometimes it was like whoever got the pin got the pin. You know, that's just the truth, even though it is fixed. But one thing I loved is, like, when you were wrestling, when you were fighting, for whether if it was 8 minutes or an hour, I wasn't thinking about my bills. I wasn't thinking about it. It was a free fall. It was just like, you're just this pocket, and it's just you and the guy, and it's just you in contact, you know, and it's just like you and not getting hurt or protecting the guy. But the few times that I've rode jiu-jitsu and I've just done it maybe 3 or 4 times, it's like it feels that way. Like when it's over. Oh gosh, I was just watching Fight Club the other day, and like the line is oh gosh, I don't recall the line, but it was something like nothing mattered after a fight. Like there was no like you know, I got to go to IKEA and get the no. There's none of that. There's just the contact. There's just the fight or the grappling or whatever you want to call it. And I kind of need that in my life. Like I need that, not just physical exercise, but like the mental exercise of just like, and it's over, and then like you got it out. You got the demons out. Like it's out. You know, like you got to be a little bit of a masochist, like to be into it, because it's painful. Like you're signing up to get choked out. It might not make sense to most people, you know, but
if you're at a legit place, every waiver is like you could die. Like you're signing a waiver if you do jiu-jitsu that you could die, because you absolutely could. You know, shit happens. Not that you're going in there trying to kill people, but you know, someone gets choked too long, you know, and it happens. Like I think that.
But also, I mean, with the way the culture is, it's like tap, just tap, and not a big fucking deal. Just fucking tap.
Yeah.
Don't be that guy that doesn't tap and then is asleep.
And that's what it demands so much from you mentally. Like you can't, and I would assume this goes for, I mean, I've done boxing, I've done MMA, I've done a lot. And like, if there's something that just grabs you and you have to be in the moment in those situations. Like if you're thinking about a bill or someone's jabbing you in the face, like,
or you're thinking about work, or you're thinking about...
or stresses, it forces you to be so in the moment, because it is life or death in a simulated way. Like, you know, it's not comfortable. It's not like, oh, we're in a gym together, so nothing we do is real. Like, no, if you don't tap, you could legitimately break a fucking limb. Like, if you don't tap, you're going to get hurt. You're going to get put out if you don't fucking tap, if you have an arm around your neck. Like, it's a very simulated, real environment, and it forces you to not focus on anything else. Right. And I think people maybe...
It's also like a mental game, too.
Are afraid to get like distracted by things, or they're afraid to, you know, or they're so distracted with all the stress and the bills and all that, is they can't put all their focus in something, which goes back to what we were saying, like following a passion, or like actually committing to something. Like that's probably why people don't, because they are so distracted with bills and work, and whatever relationship isn't working at the time that they're in, or whatever friends are mad at them for some stupid bullshit or some drama on social media. Like, and let's be real, I worry about bills and I worry about things, but there's only so much that I'm going to let my mind wander on those things before I'm like, okay, I'm going to solve this issue and move on. Like, that's one thing I've come to realize as we're talking about like waking up, whatever, is I don't have time for like bullshit. Yep. I understand what like committing to a task and following through on that is now. Yep. Because that's the only way I've been actually to be able to produce results.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I can't half-ass a task and expect me to get what I want out of it because I'm half-assing it. Like, no, you have to you have stress and you have shit you're dealing with. You got to figure that shit out or it's going to kill you. You're going to not stop thinking about it. You're going to worry about that shit until you're old. Like if you can't compartmentalize and just figure it out. And the only way you're going to figure it out is by figuring out your life shit, figuring out, you know, what way you work best, how you know, how your relationships are, how you are with people. Like you're never going to figure any of that nonsense out if you can't focus. And I don't know, it's a weird.
You got to kill the monster while it's small.
Wow, it's a baby.
It'll fucking grow and it'll wreck your whole world. And there's never a good time to be inconvenienced by a fucking crisis. And usually, I think most people are going through the motions. They're distracting themselves, escaping, whatever. And what's inevitably down the road ahead is a crisis. Right. And it's like, I almost feel as the Morpheus role, like I keep saying, it's almost my responsibility, even though it's like, who the fuck are you? But it's my responsibility to be like, dude, there's a crisis coming up. Like, please avoid it if you can, you know? Yeah. I just need to be more...
You're the signs on the side of the road that let people know.
Right.
They haven't turned yet and gotten off or done their detour. They're just still going, not paying attention. I think that's another thing too that is, you know, if you're trying to, I guess, not be distracted, or if you are trying to, what did you say a second ago? You want to be the person that what? How did you say it?
Well, I want to be the person that that just warns them that there's a crisis up ahead. You know, like, hey, it's just the Morpheus thing of like, I don't want to say activating people, but just like kind of warning them, you know. And I need to be better about like not preaching, but really maybe just put it more into my art. And if people come by that and it does something to them, great. But I don't want to, and I'm really bad at it. And I think it's part of like, if I'm being super real, like I think it's part of my own distraction. Mm-hmm. Like I don't want, if I'm, and this is being dramatic, but if I'm tying a tourniquet to somebody else's wound, I don't have to worry about my own. Yeah. And I'm busting stitches all the time, you know, So Jordan Peterson's got to clean your room, right? Like just fucking. I totally agree.
Get up and make your bed. Like,
Yeah.
if you do one thing, get up, make your bed. I don't, but, but I will. Like, there will be days where, like, hey, I have to clean the room because I can already see that, like, one more pile of clothes is going to be my fucking downfall. And
Yeah.
I'm going to have 3 hours of laundry that I got to do or some shit, right? Like,
Right.
if you don't take the time to address the small little things, they're just going to compound and get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Oh, yeah.
And then they become catastrophes that you can't, you're...
Kill the monster while it's small.
Yeah, you're fucking going to work late every day because you're fucking lazy and you don't clean your room or you don't get up early enough and you get stuck in traffic. Well, one day you're getting fired because you're late.
That's right.
Was that a discipline thing? Could you have just gotten up earlier fucking a year ago and then not even worried about sleeping in ever?
People
Like,
delude themselves into thinking, well, it's not me. It's like, it's the
victim,
system.
The victim mentality. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That scares me, man. I think I've gotten a lot better at that.
The owning it thing we were talking about on my feed the other day.
That's right.
That's
about
it is.
taking accountability.
Yeah, the victim mentality. Like, if you're really pointing the finger all the time, chances are you're the root cause of all the problems.
Did you ever read the 4 Agreements?
Mm-mm.
It's a pretty good one. I would just like
I've heard of it,
I
yeah.
would just wiki it. Like, you don't need to read the whole thing, but it talks about like that, not to take things personally, because the truth is people don't give a fuck about you and they're just trying to build their own dream. That was a massive unlock for me. I'm like, oh yeah, like no one gives a shit about me, not in an
Like
emo
that
way.
Massive unlock. I like that.
Oh yeah, like it was just like an achievement
Yep.
unlocked in a way, and I was just like, oh, like I don't need to take it so personal. Nobody cares, and that's like that's a freedom thing. It's like, oh, that's wonderful. Like nobody gives a fuck. No one's losing sleep about how Knives is raising his kids. Like that's my responsibility. I have to own that. Like that one's all on me. Whether if I show up or not, that's on me. The business that I work for is going to move on without me, whether if I'm there or not, but it's my responsibility to show up every day and bring the goods, but that to me is part of this whole owning it idea of just like, in a good way, nobody gives a fuck about you. Like you have to water your own plants, you have to show up, you have to do the work, put in those deposits, and if you don't, there's a fucking crisis waiting for you, whether if that's, you're glued to your phone, and so you're texting and driving, and then boom, that's it for you. Or even worse, you hurt somebody, right? And you got to live with the consequences, like whatever. Like all these things, these little micro actions, these micro decisions, lead. I'm a big Tony Robbins guy, and he says everything you do is a cause set in motion, and that like terrifies me because I'm like, well, if I didn't drink enough water this day, I'm like, oh, I feel really guilty, and I'm like, shit, like. That's why I'm gonna have a migraine tomorrow or whatever. But like, it's hard to not super examine everything. One of my friends who's been on the show a few times, Dave Knopp, says, you know how they say like every day is a brand new day. He's like, it's the same thing with minutes. Like every minute is a brand new minute. Like you don't have to be like, oh, I ruined the day. Tomorrow it's gonna be It's like, dude, what about like in 2 minutes from now? Like you can change it now, right? That's another unlock for me. I'm like, yes, because I'm going back to like 10-year-old Knives who would jerk off. I'm like, okay, I'm going to jerk off. I feel really guilty about it. But, like, starting on Monday, I'm not going to jerk off anymore. Like, that was, like, my big thing. I'm like, on a Monday.
Yep.
On a Monday, I'm not going to do it anymore. And it's like, how about you just change this habit now?
Yeah. Anytime. Again, because every second wasted is... There's something that, like, shook me one day, and it was like, there's going to be a point in your life where you're closer to death than you are.
Where you have
your
more
birth.
you have more yesterdays than tomorrows.
Yeah, dude. And that, I was like, whoa. That's fucking crazy. And like you can grand scheme that. Like if our average life expectancy is 82 for males or whatever, we're
Right.
32. Cool, but 50 years. Yeah, woo.
We're still in the first act.
Are we?
I want to ask you, how did the Common Chaos, how did that come about?
So my first guest ever was Trent, and he told me that I should just get on and like start recording. What I wanted to do originally was like an apparel thing, because I have a bunch of friends in California that are artists. And I saw a lot of opportunities for them to like sell their work or get stuff going, but nobody was like making shirts or doing canvas paintings or anything like that. And I couldn't have been the person that was like, hey man, I've got a canvas, will you just paint a bunch of stuff? Because maybe you don't want to be a painter, or maybe you don't, maybe that's not your wheelhouse. And so I wanted to be able to give, like, I thought about maybe just doing a website and having it be like a collective of artists. And, have it be somewhere where you can go and get information about these really cool things, have their work displayed, links to their websites. And then I could just be like a hub where you could go and find what you needed. But, do I want to build a business that's like a hub for people like that? No, that wasn't what I was trying to do. And then so I thought a podcast would be a cool way to do it, sit people down and talk about whatever projects they're working on or whatever they have in, that they're proud of. But I felt that was, again, what's the direction? What was my point in it? Am I trying to lift other people up? Am I trying to lift myself up? I am an attention whore. I like attention. So I wanted to talk and have people listen to me. So how can I talk and have it be about me, yet I'm trying to promote a person and their projects or whatever they're doing? So it was just a weird thing for me. I never really like put it down on paper with like, hey, this is what I want Common Chaos to be. And then me and Trent got linked up. And
when did you guys meet?
The end of 2016, we met at my work because he was a customer of mine.
That's right.
And then we kind of like just connected through social media. And then I jumped onto like Austin Live and Local at the beginning of like 2017 with him. And we were doing a lot of those shows. And I was like, man, he was doing a couple things with a couple other guys too. And they were just talking about like Rogan type shit and just whatever poppy culture relevant stuff. And, I've always been into it. So I'll be honest. I fell into the podcast thing just to do a podcast. Like I had an idea. Hey, I want to showcase people. And at the same time, I want to talk and, see where that goes. It worked a lot with Austin Live and Local thing because we were doing interviews and we were going to events and throwing events and doing things. So we were involved a lot. So I had a lot of like connections I was making. And that's something that it sounds so lame and like gross in a way because I don't want it to sound like I'm trying to be a voice or like a generation or a thing, but I've been able to understand or at least comprehend what I believe is living my truth, right? Living a life that is fulfilling and I'm happy, man. I'm so like, I do wake up every day excited for shit, even though I can look long distance and say, man, I'm going to be in school for another 2 years. Fuck. And like have like those thoughts of dread and like, am I ever going to make it out alive kind of thoughts? And then I remember like, hey, it's a fucking new day. It's I could have experiences today that I've never experienced. And I may experience things that I have experienced, but I'm not going to experience in the same way. I work a 9 to 5. I'm not fucking traveling the world or doing something different every single day. Like I do live a pretty monotonous life at times, but my mindset to that is, every day is a new day. Every day is a new experience that I can share with somebody, a new connection I can make with somebody. Another day to make somebody laugh, another day to make somebody smile, another day to get the chance to say I love you to somebody or hear I love you. And it's again, I can't like package it in a thing, but through discovering that in myself, I've discovered that other people are also figuring that out, right? And I think that the more people hear stories and examples of that, and more people hear stories and examples of hardship and struggle and success and achievements, and even if it's, you can take this at like a high scale, like if you do have, and I know we've mentioned him 3 times, but if you do have a Rogan and he has a lot of life-changing people on his show, right? Chances are they're already making a huge impact before they get to Rogan, right? That's why they're on Rogan, and it's like a big thing. Yeah, that's awesome and that's nice, but that's such a small percentage of people that can actually relate to those levels,
right?
And yet there's stories that are just as impactful and just as important and just as dense as those people.
That's right.
And I feel like we're blind to the fact that we have those people around us all the time. And just because they don't have 1 million Facebook or Instagram followers, or they're not some fucking social media guru or some self-development coach, doesn't mean that they don't have value and they don't have worth. And
at the very least, a compelling story.
Yes, to somebody. You don't have to fucking impress 1 million people, but if I can have somebody on, and I've had people reach out to me about the most just oddball of like guests or oddball of conversations or oddball topics, and people be like, hey man, I didn't even think about it that way. I'm really glad you brought that up. Here's what I think. And then they'll engage with me, and I know that when I'm engaging with people, people's wheels are turning. And that's what I got bored a lot in those wasted years. There's a lot of time where I was up late watching movies, scrolling fucking on Wikipedia, just falling down rabbit holes, not really being productive with my time.
Fucking off.
But when I was productive, you felt that energy, you felt that high on it, and when your gears are turning, or when you're finding something new or interesting and it captivates you, you almost are looking looking at life through like different lenses. You're kind of like, you know, I have these weird goggles on, but it's fun. I'm going to keep wearing these goggles. And if I can spark that in people, and I can just get people on the path to figuring themselves out, or to finding their truths, or whatever it is, then I feel accomplished. And it might sound kind of like conceited, or I don't know. I'm not trying to say that I want to be that voice, but you know, there are people that can be heard and that need to be heard. And if I can do that through my medium, then cool. I want to do that.
You're doing that, and I love it. Do you have a favorite show that you've done? Can you think of the one?
I have like my most popular ones have been my the mayoral candidates I did, Alex and Travis.
Mm-hmm.
They were running for mayor back in 2018. They've been my most popular, but
what's like one where you're just like, I would hear that again because I like it.
Of my own, you're asking, right?
Of your own. What was that guy who hosted the hip hop awards?
His name, I won't say. I don't know if he likes his real name being out there, but his name's Von Doom, George Von Doom.
George Von Doom. That was a really good one.
George Corbin. Yeah, he's awesome, man. I met him through Austin Live and Local, actually.
That was like a next level one, I thought.
I don't know, man. I know, man. And you know what?
The Becca ones are great, very insightful.
I love those. She's actually.
I feel like they don't count though. I've been wanting to hear her show.
Oh, dude, listen to it. It's great.
Full disclosure, like, it's because what if it's like better than mine, and I'm gonna be fucking jealous. I'm fucking resent her, and it's like I don't even know her, and it's like when people are like super dope, I'm like, fuck. It's discouraging.
I know, but you need to kill that. Kill it while it's a baby. Don't let it discourage you.
You're right.
And because it happened to me, and I'll tell you the exact time it happened.
With her pod?
Yep. I had been fucking lazy, right? I think I had been writing some like blogs and putting them up, but I wasn't recording. And her and her friend Jamie decided that they were going to record a podcast, and they were going to do it. They have not missed a Wednesday since they've done it. Every single Wednesday, have not missed one.
Respect.
Like a month and a half, 2 months in, Summer Moon gifted her like a gift card because of the podcast, and they mentioned Summer Moon all the time, the coffee shop. So they got a gift card from them. And then they got like some podcasting network reached out to them, and they were like, hey, we want to feature your podcast. Yeah. And like low key, deep down, I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. You've been doing this like for a month and a half. And I've been doing it. But what it did is it made me look back and go, hey, you haven't missed a fucking Wednesday. Yep. You guys are having fun while you're doing it. There's no end goal in it. You guys are just doing it because and it reset me for sure. And it's if anything, motivated me to just be more on my shit. You have also motivated me to be more on my shit.
You motivated me, Trent, originally.
Dude. Hey, and I know that's like my goal is to get you, me, and fucking Trent all on someone's platform and fucking just burn it down completely.
I know. No shit.
But, we
could take it all down.
I think that there's something to be said with like, hey, we're talking about like you mentioned if people that you're not associating with aren't getting up and like loving their day, you don't want anything to do with them. People need that. And, if you're questioning yourself or if you're working on yourself, work on the people around you too. And you'd be surprised on like once you shift that perspective, how many people probably aren't the best for you or probably aren't motivating you or helping you out in the best ways.
Oh yeah.
And
it's hard to cut that limb off and cauterize that wound. Like it is, especially when you have, I'm not like going to go so far as to say I have a savior complex, but it's just like, it's really, I don't know when to throw in the towel and I don't know when to say that this person is a lost cause. Mm-hmm. I almost don't believe in I almost don't believe in a lost cause. Like if you're a Christian, not that this is a religious thing, but like you wouldn't say that person, they're a lost cause. Like, no, you don't give up. You have faith that it's not too late, right? Mm-hmm. And so, but in real life, like there's some people that are toxic and they're cancer for you and you need to cut them out. I've had to do that very recently and it's hard, man. It's fucking hard.
Yeah, and it's not even to the other degree too. The people that are around you that are working, like again, you guys motivate me, and I think it's a like a real recognizes real, another cliche statement, but it's.
I was just about to say it.
Hey man, like what you're doing this because it's a passion of yours and you love doing it, and there's no reason why your There's no reason you have to look at the Becca podcast as like a, man, maybe it's better than mine. Like, hey man, if it is, like, do you have the potential to also be better. So like, where's the gap at?
Yeah, it's a first thought. I don't live there,
Right.
but it's like, that's why I haven't pulled the trigger. Cause I'm like, what if it's fucking like, do I gotta tell Bryan that like it's better than Comic Chaos? Like, fuck, I can't have that conversation, man.
Dude,
Like,
you know what's fucking even more crazy is I had a couple people reach out to me, friends from back home, that were like, oh, I listened to your girlfriend's podcast. It was so good. I loved it. Like a lot of girls I know, right? And I was like, oh, that's awesome. I went back and checked. They don't even follow my shit.
of course.
Yet they heard about their podcast and it's a fucking great thing. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this, dude?
Yeah.
Where's
How many
this
episodes has she done? Her and her co-host.
They just hit like 32.
That's epic, dude.
It
That's
is.
such a big deal.
Oh,
And
it
like,
is.
there's a.
If she keeps it every Wednesday, she'll hit 100 before I do, I'm sure.
And let me just say that, like, as someone who's in the podcast world and I love it, it's definitely something that it's like a bread and butter of mine. I don't want to be dismissive and say like that a female piloted podcast is like a gimmick. Like, yeah, it's the two girls. And I'm not saying that, but it's never been a better time for an all women podcast to get on and do really, really cool things. Like, it's a great time for that. And it always sucks when I meet and talk to women who don't listen to podcasts. I'm just like, well, maybe it's because there's not like a female Joe Rogan for them or something. Like, I don't know. But so all that just to say that what they're doing is also really important. Just and it sucks. I'm not dismissing it, but it's like, it's also very, very important. And so good on them for doing it. And I don't think there's like a team like that in Austin that are doing that. So whatever they're doing, it's fucking working. And so the key is consistency. Like, if they just keep at it, it's going to be good for them.
They're not, I've asked them and sat her down like, hey, because there's actually a sponsor me and her kind of both talking to that we know back in California, and we're kind of assessing that situation a little bit. And she's got no, like, I don't care. She's like, I just want to do the podcast, and as long as it stays fun. If there's opportunities that come the way, cool, we can work on it. But they don't have like any type of anything being held over their head where they're like, oh, we have to accomplish this or accomplish that. They're kind of just going with the flow right now. Still figuring out the tweaks as it goes along. I literally showed her one time how to use like the recording equipment and how to GarageBand it up and set it all up, and she's been fucking just rocking it ever since, man.
That is so cool.
Yeah, dude, they're great. Tired Girls Club. If anybody's interested.
Tired Girls Club, and also good name. It's they got everything.
They had a sleepover at my house.
What do you mean?
So they had the Tired Girls Club sleepover.
Okay.
Right, of course, to like commemorate some show that they did or something. And they just invited a bunch of their coworkers because they work at a hair salon. So there's a bunch of girls over at the house. Mm-hmm. And there was like probably 30 chicks at my house at like one time at like the peak of it.
Wow.
So, and me, her brother who lives with us, right? And then
I didn't know that.
Her brother, our other roommate, Roger, and then Jamie, who's her co-host, her husband, Alex.
Oh.
So it was only us 4 dudes that were there. So we were like in the kitchen by ourselves, just kind of like minding our own business, talking and bullshitting, right?
Yeah.
So they were going to do like a Tired Girls Club sleepover podcast and like interview the girls when they were there and like do like
did
this.
They?
No. Because I hijacked the equipment, and what we did is we commentated their sleepover like it was a battle royale.
That is cool.
And as they would come into the kitchen, we'd commentate them, we'd give them all nicknames.
Yeah. You know what's weird, man? Speaking about jacking the equipment, like I found doing a daily podcast. Now tomorrow I think will be day 40.
Congratulations.
I say like I think like I don't know, but I think so. And thanks. I'm surprised I haven't done anything for 40 days in a row. Anything. And I will say it's what's nuts is the feedback that I get. The episodes that pop are never the ones that you put the most work in. It's always like the fringe ones. Like I have a few episodes, like my numbers have been going up, but there are like 3 or 4 episodes that are like like most successful for me, and I recorded them on my phone. I took out my voice memos app, I talked into my phone, I uploaded it from my phone, like copy and pasted my description, put it on SoundCloud, which is my RSS, which I'm gonna change soon, whatever, and it's like on my phone, and it's very strange because especially as a filmmaker, gear, it's all about the fucking gear. But what you can do with the phone is astounding, and I just want to tell you as a podcaster and whoever's listening, like if you have a smartphone, that's all you need to make a podcast. And I don't, and here's the thing, like, I think when people hear that, they think, yeah, but if I did a podcast, I would need the equipment. And it's like, okay, but you also, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, the listeners, the message is very important. And with sound, you do want clear sound, but like, dude, it is just, that's one distinction or observation that I've made of just like, even if it's on a phone, dude, people like it and it's good. The message is what matters for sure. And that's just a crazy thing that I wouldn't have necessarily believed, but it is true, man. One of the last, how I think obviously this episode is going to end on a ... because I want to have you on again and all that. There's no way that I don't see you on frequently, but I am curious, like, since we're still in the beginning of the year, it's 2020, you know, do you still have the woo 2020 baby, like, this is it, like, you know, let's get after it, like, has that dissipated? Because usually you and me catch up towards the end of the year, and so we have this kind of like bird's eye view of everything. But it occurred to me like a couple nights ago, I'm like, oh, I don't have that excitement of like, it's 2020 baby, I don't have that anymore. But it's still so early in the game, like it's there. How do you feel about it?
I've been kind of fucking with like the concept of time, because it's just moving way too fast right now. And obviously, because we're older, that shit happens. Like, we we have less to attribute to like free time, right? And like, we see our days go pretty quick. So I'm still kind of working on that in like a weird way. I am still excited that it's 2020.
It still feels like it's still special.
I don't want to. I'm like excited for the decade, and I know we kind of talked about that on my podcast, but like the 2020s is what I'm kind of excited for, and like what's going to come of that. I'm tweeting every day. That's been my thing, because I just feel like that's simple and I can get it out there, and I haven't missed a day yet, so I'm excited for that.
That's good.
Doing that every single morning kind of reignites something. We're like, all right, here I'm tweeting, and then I start thinking about fucking promoting or doing posts and work and what I'm accomplishing and tasks. I try to be more prioritized as well. So I have kind of what I'm doing first quarter already kind of planned out, figured out in the process. We're planning some trips for the year, which are going to be exciting. That, you know, I like hopefully a Germany trip, which I've never been to another country like that. So it's going to be cool.
It's a big one.
Yeah, man, I'm still excited. What I'm excited for though is the process. I think, like, you know, and as weird as this is, I've told myself like, hey, I'm going to tweet every single day and I'm not going to miss a day. And part of that is because you're doing a podcast every day, right? And
sometimes they're 1 minute episodes that I upload on my phone.
Yeah. And
people need to know that.
Yeah. But you're doing it. And
not everything is like this level. I mean, it just couldn't be. I wish.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. And so that's how I approached it. And I was like, I need something simple that I can do every single day.
That's right.
Not miss it.
Yeah.
Doing the tweets. And I thought to myself, man, what if something really tragic happens to like a family member of mine?
Yeah.
Or like, I was already kind of giving myself an excuse not to tweet. Like, I was saying, oh man, what if something really tragic happens and I happen to like forget about a tweet? Mm-hmm. And at this point, I'm sure I'll just tweet the tragedy, like, you know, or whatever it is, and like mark that off my list. But
one thing that's important to note is, and this is something that Gary Vee says, like, it doesn't always have to be your idea either. Like a tweet, mm-hmm. you could always tweet a meme or like tweet at somebody or retweet, right? Technically. So it doesn't always have to be the 240 or however many, 280 characters, some shit like that. Like, it doesn't always have to be.
And Twitter is weird, man. Twitter is difficult and like hard, and like not hard in the sense that I don't know how to navigate it, but it's just like conversations on there are so quick and like they're over so soon because you can have so many different ones at one time, and then you've got to follow along what this aspect of the conversation is, and it's just difficult. But for me, it's a platform I'm not too familiar with, so I told myself, hey, I want to get better there. And, you know, I've had probably I've had 3 people that I can name off the top of my head that have gone to the podcast, gotten shirts, signed up, did that through Twitter, just through my shit on Twitter. And like, that's cool. That's awesome. Like, that's all I ask for is like some sort of engagement, a new follower that tweets at me, even if it's like the dude that was giving us shit for the Ari Shaffir thing, that guy.
That could have been a bot. I thought it was a bot.
I kind of thought it was too, because I've been doing that. I've been going to the profiles.
They didn't have a default picture.
Like 9 friends too, but
bot.
Tweet history for a minute.
Mm.
And so that's what I thought it was, like maybe a troll, like an Ari troll.
I forgot, what did that person say?
Well, you were like, Ari Shaffir is the friend that we all need to not have or whatever.
To grow out of.
Yeah. I didn't know that he did the Kobe joke at that time either.
You didn't. Oh, yeah.
And that was part of the conversation. So me and that guy talked a little bit.
I see.
And part of that conversation,
Yeah.
I was like, this was
Also,
pre-Kobe joke. I didn't.
The drug and Bert thing was like a deal breaker for me. I would unfriend. Like I would be like, you're not dead to me, but I'm done with you. I don't give a fuck. I feel like Bert can't even do it because Ari is so protected.
Did you?
But I would be like, I'd tell everybody, all my friends, like, dude, you guys want to be friends with him? I don't give a fuck. This guy's dead to me.
Did you
for
hear
that.
their Sober October, their final one?
Yeah.
Where they kind of made up?
They made up, but like, I mean, Ari hasn't done anything, in my opinion, from what I've seen optically. Like, Ari didn't do anything to redeem himself or to like really pay penance or anything. And I think it just showed that Bert is a good guy. Like, he's actually a really, really good guy. Because there's something kind of, I'm not a fan of Bert's comedy. That kind of comedy just doesn't make me laugh. I actually can't even sit through one of his shows. Oh, something we didn't talk about on your show, but why even be a dick, is when I was going on through like things that disappointed me. The worst comedy special of all time, which was Brendan.
Oh my god.
The worst comedy special of all fucking time in the history. Was so bad. But anyways, Bert to me doesn't make me laugh. But he is a nice guy, and like he forgave Ari under circumstances where I would have never.
Oh shit, man!
Did you see it?
Oh, of course.
It's
of course.
I don't say this lightly, but it's absolute dog shit.
My buddy yesterday went and saw him in San Antonio, and I commented on the Instagram. I'm gonna sound like such a Cheeto finger hater right now, but and I was like, "Oh, Tom Bout comedy, right?" And I fucked the word up.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of people were like, "No, you didn't. This and that." And then the dude who went to the show messaged me, and he's like, "Yo, what was that about?" And I was like, "Dude, check it. Like, if you're like follow the Fighter and the Kid subreddit, because you're about to get introduced to some gold."
What does that mean? What does that mean?
So they fucking did like a subreddit for Fighter and the Kid way back in the day where they were hyped. And I went to the very first ever live Fighter and the Kid at the Comedy Store when I was living in California.
You're a badass.
I'm a old school Fighter and the Kid fan. Back when they named him Big Brown, Abbott Kinney Fight Club.
He was still fighting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I'm a old school fan, and I appreciated Brendan because he was coming up and like paying his dues a little bit, right? He was coming in, and he the Rogan talk, obviously, and like he, you know, was
That's one of the all-time greatest podcasts ever.
Yeah, yes.
Ever.
Yes. And
we're talking about the same one.
where he goes, "Hey, I think you should stop fighting." I think you'd be surprised. Yes.
Dude.
Yes. And so and seeing all that into what, and this is what I told him. I'm like, "Hey, listen, man, first of all, I'm a homeless cat, and my opinion does not matter. But the reason that I'm not on that train anymore is because, you know, the evolution it's there. His comedy special, the reason it was so bad is because he lied. Like, as anybody that's a comic or a comedy fan, like, there's obviously a little bit of a blurring the lines.
Lied.
But when you explain what your story is as you're coming up, and then within the 2 years that you've been coming up, you have a comedy special that everybody's already kind of questioning, and your main bit at the end about fucking seeing whoever you saw in the crowd, Leo and Hulk Hogan and whoever at your fight, and you change your stories, like, as the hardcore fan that knows you, like,
See, I didn't know that.
Why are you using a different story now? You're appealing to like your fan base that probably doesn't know your fight career. You're appealing to the fan base that probably doesn't know the original story that is recorded and on air.
Right.
And yet you're putting up an unnecessary facade,
Yeah.
and you're doing it because you're on a hot streak right now and you're gaining new fans, and yet you're homeless cats that have been your fucking followers for a long time and supported you. You know, I also think he's breaking face a lot when it comes to how he treats certain situations when it comes to like feedback and criticism. And, you know, I think that he fucking got the streams shut down on Reddit. Like, he's not a fucking, I don't know. He's kind of a douche. And I supported him. He's taken my money. Like, and I don't mean to say he's taken it in a way where
You've
like
paid for him.
I have willingly supported Brendan Schaub and the Fighter and the Kid. I love Bryan Kern, and I'm fucking
Same.
Hey, I like Brendan. Like, he's just doing his thing, right? And he may not have maybe the best people around him, maybe whatever. I don't know the story,
Sure.
but as a fan and me allowing to have the fan perspective,
Right.
he's alienated his original fans and he's alienated the people that I think supported him when he was coming up because they saw the real in that. They saw the real that he was trying to make it in comedy. He was, funny. He was doing the podcast. Nobody was willing to go into podcasts. He was outspoken about how UFC was screwing him. He didn't fight because he thought he was getting fucked. He had to have that tough conversation in front of millions of people with Rogan.
Which is not fucking easy. Like, I would never want to be that guy. I would hope that I have homies around me that could have that conversation with me for real. But I could never. Like, that's a fucking hard one. But it's I love that podcast. Like, this is fine. But I had a heart to heart with somebody. I'll just say, like a big one. Like this is the last time I'm gonna talk to you, and so here's everything. And to get into that state, I heard that podcast, and I was just like, you have to remember, it comes from love. Like Joe came from I love you, bro. Like, I'm not saying you suck. I'm just saying I love you. And so, you have other buckets that are becoming full, right? And so that's an all-timer podcast. Like, I love it. Everybody, whether if you're in that scene or not, like, needs to listen to it. But yeah, that special was like
Dicey.
And here's the thing, like, the comedy world, what I love is that everybody, like, right now, especially since stand-up is so white hot, and it deserves to be, like, it's awesome. The community is so good, and, like, there's, like, a brotherhood there where it's, like, no one has poo-pooed him. That's interesting to me. I haven't seen it.
Bobby Lee.
Has he?
Bobby Lee goes.
Thank you, Bobby Lee.
So, but a part of me thinks it's a click thing. A part of me thinks they're trolling because like Bert and Theo Vaughn were like trolling everybody with that whole wife.
What's this?
I mean, I don't know if we need to get into it, but there's apparently like a thing where like Theo fucked Bert's wife like back in the day.
Oh, that can't be real.
Well, people thought it was, but they were just trolling, right?
Oh, sure.
And it like Twitter trolled. Like Theo made a comment on the King of the Sting, and it like, made a fucking thing. Did you hear about Schaub outing Rogan?
No. Dude, they got heat?
I mean, he had to go on air and apologize about it.
I need to hear this. What is this?
So, Schaub was on the King and the Sting, and he talked about, like, he had a fan question where a bald guy was talking about how he can't get any, and he's, doesn't have self-confidence, doesn't have any of this, and Schaub was like, hey, I know a bunch of bald guys that are slanging it. Dana White, Rogan, and then he kind of, like, looks like, and then Chin or whoever the people are kind of giggle.
Mm-hmm.
And he like kind of cuts it. Well, like a week later, they do a fight companion, and Rogan's showing Eddie Bravo something, and then he shows Bryan Kern something, and Schaub was like, "Let me see," and Rogan goes, "Hand that to Schaub, but tell him to keep his fucking mouth shut."
Yeah.
And Eddie like off camera goes, "Not on your podcast," and like jokes about it, right? And he's like, so, but there's like a thing, like it was just a joke. It was just like an out thing.
Yeah.
You got the MMA streams shut down, like fucking.
Yeah.
Charges $80 to get a picture with him after a show. Come on.
Oh no.
You fucking been in comic for like 4 years.
It's weird. Like, I respect him. I dig what he does. He
respect. Like, there's respect there.
Yeah,
for sure.
And also, like, if you can carve out your real estate and plant your flag and be like, this is my space, and people show up, well, mazel tov, right? Like, no, I ain't gonna complain for that. But I just thought it was suspect that since he's so in that scene that no one was just like, dude, that special was dog shit. It was just so bad. Like, and it's like you almost, I don't want to say lose your seat at the table, but you should get shat on for that. Because if you were anybody else in your infancy of your career, you'd get shat on.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So why should he be immune to that? That's conspicuous to me. Like, I'm not in the scene. I'm not at the table. But if this was like film world, an indie film world, and like Knives is a guy, I would definitely at least have a private conversation with this person to be like, dude, what? That's not an hour. That wasn't an hour. Like, that was not an hour. Like, holy fuck. Like, holy shit. Like, he should have been, like, laughed at, and almost should have like had that conversation of like, you shouldn't be doing this, only so he could step up and get better, and then the next time around like shove it up everybody's ass and be like, you see, I do deserve this. That's the way that should go, and I think he has a work ethic for that. But the fact that he kind of just got a free pass, I always question the free pass when it comes to anybody or anything.
And that's what it is. It's a free pass. You know, and I mean, even he kind of even saved face a little bit by going on Rogan right after and saying that, yeah, he probably shouldn't have done it so soon, you know, which was kind of nice to hear and to, you know, he's vulnerable at times and that's cool. But yeah.
Having said all that, like he's funny on the shows. Like he's funny. Like he's a funny.
I haven't listened to a Fighter and the Kid in so long.
Oh, really? They did like an episode 500 or something recently, and like Bobby was on it, and it was funny. But I hear their clips. I don't hear their full episodes, but I do hear clips, like when they talk about
You should follow
like
that sub.
the Kobe thing. I'll check it out. Reddit is the only social media that hurts my feelings.
Why?
Do you post?
Yeah.
Like, do you?
I mean, I'm not an avid poster,
I could never
but
be.
I will post. I got my
could
first
never
50
be.
uploads the other
I
day.
would be an anon. Like I could never be Knives Monroe on Reddit. That's for fuck sure. I remember. I don't even want to say it because people will dig shit up. But I wrote a very passionate like. Why did I post it in Reddit? Like it was just like a read the room, Knives. Like I wrote a very passionate diatribe that I didn't even know I wasn't supposed to say in Reddit, apparently. And people would just like shat in my mouth for this. And I deleted the post.
Oh,
and
damn it.
I was just like,
did you delete
well,
it?
fuck y'all then, man. Like nobody's on my side. Fuck y'all. It had something to do with like I left my hometown and I came to Austin for like more opportunities. It was like in that sentiment. And I posted it like in my hometown Reddit thing. And people were just like attacking my character. Like it was just so personal. And I was like, you can't say, like I basically was like, these bullets ain't fucking worth this shit. Like I was like, fuck that. And like I'll be on Reddit, like I'll follow some things. It's a great place for
You're a
memes and
lurker?
news.
You're a lurker,
yeah, oh for
long-time
sure.
lurker?
But I ain't gonna participate. I am not. I'm not. Like it's.
I'm not old school Reddit. I have guys that signed up for Reddit in like 2007, 2008, or like right
Are you
around
for
that
real?
time. Oh yeah, my roommate signed up for it when he was in the military, when he was overseas, and he's like, yeah, man, it's just another meme center now. Like it's gotten a lot of like any other social media when it used to have like a high regard.
That was Tumblr. Was that for me? It
yeah,
was
but now
all
you
about
can't,
the
now you
Tumblr
can't
life.
post porn on Tumblr no more. So it's like what
No,
the
you
fuck?
can't. You can't. But I mean, there's plenty of. I mean, that's what Reddit's for.
Yeah, it is.
And Twitter for.
I was
that.
gonna say you can also go to Reddit and see like sudden faces of death shit, and like almost
yeah.
unexpectedly, like accidental shoe loss has someone dying every day.
Oh my word! No, I follow. I think it's just called Unexpected.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And every now and then you see I don't want to see that, you
Yep.
know. And it's like it is.
My girlfriend hates Nature is Metal. I'll show her Nature is Metal of like
Oh,
a fucking deer with its lungs hanging out.
See, I'm
She'll
okay
be
with
like,
that
"Why?"
because it's not like it's
Nature?
it's nature. Like it's not a human being like torturing a puppy or something. Like I don't want to. Who the fuck wants to see that? But so you looked at the clock. And
I know. I'm sorry. I didn't
no,
mean to do that. My
no,
phone
no.
vibrated. Actually,
It's a big show today. Like when was the last time John fought?
he
Cormier?
no, his last fight was Thiago Santos in
Oh, it was
October.
That wasn't
or
that long
something
ago.
like
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no. He won split decision.
So they say he's the best fighter. I will say I don't picture him losing tonight. Then again, I never thought I'd see Anderson Silva lose. So anything can fucking happen for sure. What do you think is going to happen?
I mean, he's the GOAT, hands down, greatest ever. I think that there's a good chance if all the stars are aligned, Dominic Reyes definitely has the power to put him to sleep by knockout. I don't think John Jones is getting submitted. And yeah, I mean, I see either a decision or a late stoppage from Jones. If Dominic Reyes does win, he's going to have to get it done within the first 2 rounds, because one thing that John Jones is phenomenal at is figuring out another person's game plan, like in the moment. John Jones is, and he'll do that post-fight. Hey, I noticed this, so I had to adjust. Hey, I noticed this, so I had to adjust. He is a freak when it comes to those terms. So if it makes it past second round, John Jones is probably going to have Dominic's number, be able to figure out what he's going to do, when he's going to do it, hit him with some tricky shit, some weird elbows, some tight clinch work. I'd be really excited if he took him down, because Jones hasn't wrestled a whole lot lately. So that'd be kind of interesting to see if he utilizes his wrestling. He's got just the most brutal ground and pound, so if he can get it down there. There's a height difference, so Dominic Reyes is like 4 inches taller than Jones, 3 or 4 inches taller than Jones, but Jones still has a longer reach. And he's just fucking, he's the GOAT, man. I don't see him ever losing.
I would love to see him and Brock.
Him and Stipe. I mean,
be
Brock to me is...
He's done. He's not coming back.
He's a downloadable character. There's nothing interesting about Brock.
DLC.
Yeah.
I would just love to see Brock get his ass kicked.
Yeah, he's too old now.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple heavyweights that could probably kick his ass.
Good stuff, man. I'm gonna look forward to it. I'm gonna check it out. I may stop by. Might do a nice little stoppage thing. That'd be really cool. Appreciate the invite, dude. We finally did it. I had you on the show.
I'm so excited, dude.
Sorry,
I
cool.
rambled. I didn't.
No, I mean,
see, I need outlines.
That's
I need
the
outlines
goal.
and talking points. And
Fuck all that. This ain't Fox News, man. We come here and we just have a good time. It's a conversation. And like when you were going, I was just like, I'm surfing this wave right here, man. It's just me and the wave. So thank you so much for coming on the show, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
I don't want to end the show without you, and I probably did it when I took a piss, but like, where can people find you on the internet?
commonchaos.net, and of Bryan of Death on Instagram, Twitter, all that. Of Bryan, OF, BRYAN of Death, of Bryan of Death.
We got to do this again.
Of course.
Appreciate
100%.
it.
Love you.
Never ever believe anything you hear. And believe only half of what you see. And always, 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 forever and ever and ever, put a force field around your heart.